Welcome back, my Jits fam. We're live again. It has been a whole week off. It feels like a month, but I'm pumped up and excited for my guest today. Guys, all of you new people on the channel checking this out right now, don't forget to like and subscribe. Be sure to tune in, turn on notifications so you know when awesome guests like the one I'm about to introduce do join us. This guest that I have is considered by me and many people that I've been talking to as the OG, the original grappler of Lebanon, Beirut. All right, and I'm very proud to have him here on the podcast. Thank you so much, Daniel Hilal, for being here with me, brother.
And thank you. I'm humbled by this. Like when I got the message, I don't know, man. Like I don't know, man.
Brother, I don't know what to tell you other than you've got a lot of love in the Middle East out there for you because, okay, we talked. I actually, many people from Lebanon and people I've trained with told me you got to talk to this guy. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I checked you out on Instagram. I'm like, wow, legit. And when I posted that I'm interviewing you, the amount of people that joined the Jits guy page and the amount of people chatting is unbelievable.
Yeah, man, I was looking at it and I was surprised myself. Like I started blushing. You know, I'm reading the comments.
Hell yeah!
I don't know. I saw some hate also, man. I saw like a big. Man, I don't know what happened. I just look in. Someone tells me, "Man, check it out," and I look and I just see this war going on. And,
yes. You officially started the first war on my comment pages.
Yeah,
it was hilarious.
I'm not a big fan of this, but man, it happens. Like it happens. But
I think, Daniel, this is part of like why I'm doing this is in the Middle East, it's quite dark. There's a big shadow and we're all training in the shadows. We don't know what each other are doing. And we all have this imagination in our head of the other training gym, the other team.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So when people tune into this, you know, I like, as a famous quote I like, haters are just confused fans. So
Yeah.
hopefully we can reduce the confusion, man. Because like people watching now are going to get to know you better. They're going to hear your story, hopefully, and be like, man, this guy's just like me. He goes through the same shit I go through and khalas.
Yeah, I think it's true. I think in the Middle East, there's this, there's a community that all know each other. The people that are legit, they know who's legit in every other country, but then this isn't the majority of people, unfortunately. Yes. So, yeah, like you said, there's this big, you know, it's kind of under the table. Like probably the top guys in every country know each other. But yeah, man, it's like you said, I think what you're doing is real good, especially for the Middle East, because you see lots of talented guys and they think they're just Arabs that live abroad, but 90% of their training or even more is in the Middle East.
Absolutely.
People used to mistake me a long time ago, and they used to say like, "Oh man, like you're coming from San Diego to compete and represent Lebanon." No, man. Like I've been 97% of my training, if not more, has been in Lebanon, and I just went twice to San Diego, and each time, the first time was about a month, the second time was about 6 weeks, and the majority of my training has been in Lebanon, and a lot of people don't know that. They think I started jiu-jitsu and I started everything abroad and I just came to Lebanon, and that's not the case at all.
That's the interesting thing to me, Daniel, because before I do a podcast with somebody, I tend to stalk them a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So I check out some articles, I see what's written out there about people, and with you, it appeared to be so, because there's other Lebanese people that are black belts, there's other Lebanese that have gotten to martial arts and jiu-jitsu, but you seem to be the person whose name was in Lebanon doing jiu-jitsu long before jiu-jitsu was being mentioned in Lebanon, and that's what caught my eye.
Yeah, that's true, man. Like I've been in the game, man, ever since the beginning in Lebanon. Like I know how it started, and
I love it.
We're still continuing, man. Like we're, you know, I'm gonna be there for the future. Like I'm gonna be there for the future of Lebanon in this.
I hope you are. I hope you are, because I can see already the influence that you've had on jiu-jitsu, and it's such a beautiful story, man. Because a lot of people think of this ideal way of training jiu-jitsu under the master and in this gym, and I'm gonna go under the blue basement and train. No, man, like you did it in a completely unorthodox way. And you have so much love and respect for your jiu-jitsu. It makes me happy. Like I'm honored to have you on this podcast because I think we're going to get into some amazing value for people listening here today.
I hope so too.
We will. Nice. I just wanted to ask you something real quick. Lebanon right now, how's it going? Is it under control? Are you guys still in lockdown?
Is it under control in terms of like the whole country you're talking about, or just us training? Like.
So that's the thing with Lebanon. You can't ask a straightforward question with Lebanon. I know there's been a lot going on, but I mean, like when it comes to Corona, are you guys still combating it, or is it back to normal?
So right now there's new rules that have been published by the ministry. So for example, close contact isn't allowed. I think we have to keep distance of within 2 meters. So I took a not a side, but I would say I stepped away. Like I took a step out because I don't want to do anything that people aren't comfortable with. I don't want to promote training. I don't want to tell people to train, and then people that are worried about their family will be forced to train because they feel, if they're training and we're staying at home, I don't want people to go out of their comfort zone to just train. And at the same time, I can't tell people not to train. I can't tell people, like some people, they have siblings that train. They train with very close friends.
Yes.
They both know that they're negative for the virus. I mean, if people are negative and they test it, they could train together if they make a commitment. But I think there's I can't really say anything in this situation. I apologize to all my students and everyone because obviously they know I've been on the down low for this. But
Sure.
like I said, this is something I can't control. I can't promote people to train against their will, and I can't tell people not to train. So it's a really tricky time right now. So.
It's really interesting what you said because it's a fresh perspective. Everybody is on the, let me go and do Zoom classes, let me encourage people to stay active and such. Whereas you might sound apologetic for your, let's say, missing in action status, but I don't see it that way.
I could have maybe, my students know me, and a lot of people know me for someone that doesn't post much. I don't speak out much.
Yeah.
It's the first time I do a podcast. I shouldn't have spoken out during this time. I could have motivated people to train, and it could have backfired. I think people's health is much more important. I mean,
yes,
in America you have more people, younger people that maybe they live alone. It's kind of okay if they train, but in Lebanon the majority, they still live with parents, and we have a lot of older guys training with us. They have kids. Man, as much as I love jiu-jitsu, it's not more important than anyone's health, to be honest.
Absolutely.
So
I think what's interesting, Daniel, is Lebanon is very similar to Italy when it comes to its demographic and its population. And if you see what happened in Italy, they have a very old population and they got wiped out, man. And Lebanon stood a chance for the same to happen. And I was very proud to see Lebanon really lock that shit down quickly before most Arab countries.
Yeah, I think in terms of when it comes to what happened with this whole pandemic, I think Lebanon did real well. I don't know anyone personally that has been affected, which is good. And the numbers are still very, very low. I just hope for the best, but still, as long as this virus is out there, and it's still tricky. It's a tricky situation. And now soon they're going to open airports. They already started around the world, and here they're going to follow in. That's another danger coming in. I'm sorry to everyone, but I can't jeopardize anyone's health.
I fully respect your approach, man. And actually, if you check out a podcast, I did a podcast with Stefan Kesting, and he's like a first responder, firefighter, and he's been heavily involved with this. His response to this whole thing was very nice. He said, look, right now we train jiu-jitsu. It's unregulated. We can open a gym, train people, and the government doesn't stuff its nose into what we're doing.
Yeah.
If we end up opening an academy and having a super spreader event from a jiu-jitsu academy, and then 100 people get infected just because somebody came and trained, once Corona's over, they're going to be regulating our shit, and then we're not going to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's super true. I mean, and lots of people are coming up with ways, and I fully respect this. People are doing Zoom classes. They're doing, they're even going to the gym training, keeping a distant space involved. I think they're doing, solo workouts. They're regulating the mat spaces. But this is not the jiu-jitsu that I know.
Right. That's what
I wouldn't know how to teach this. I'm a white belt in Zoom jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
I'm not gonna. I'm like, with all my respect to the people doing this, I'm not against them. On the contrary, it's great. They're motivating people to train.
Yeah.
But this isn't jiu-jitsu for me. I can't do it. So I just, I'm just keeping my mouth shut, staying on the down low, and
totally understandable, man. And you're on Lebanese Wi-Fi.
This is my only worry right now.
I get you.
Yeah.
I
The
totally
Wi-Fi
understand.
or the electricity. I don't know which will cut first, but
You know what? Luckily, it's 6 minutes past 10 and it usually hits on the clock, right? It hits on the hour. So I'm
yeah,
gonna try
yeah,
to.
yeah. I guess we're good right now, but it's hard to tell, you know.
If you hear
It's
me
hard to tell.
speeding up, it's because we're approaching 11. Once we pass 11, I'll calm down again.
Yeah, if you guys see me not moving or talking, it's probably it.
I got you, man. I got you. So listen, I really wanted to get into your backstory a little bit because this is a very unique opportunity to talk to somebody in the Middle East who's literally trained on his own. Because as far
Yeah.
as I see and I've read, you were like a lone wolf in this world.
Yes. Yeah. Pretty much, I would say yes. The majority of it is this. Of course, I've gotten help, but I'll explain what kind of help. But yeah, the majority of it has been me alone. And when I started, I've always been into martial arts. So ever since I was a kid,
Okay.
man, I just wanted to be like Bruce Lee. You know, same
Nice.
story. I had posters of Bruce Lee. I was doing
Okay.
karate. I did lots of stuff, and uh, I started to do judo when I was a teenager, and I kind of enjoyed this kind of grappling, the grappling system. I felt it was more real than
The close
something else, and
contact.
yeah, it kind of drove me into it. And then, of
Mm.
course, I just kept on going to what's more practical, what's more effective, what's more this, and then I just started playing around, playing around, playing around.
Hmm.
I got it, like I was just interested in MMA. I'm like, wow, like they could do anything.
Yes.
And then uh, people don't know this story, but I was maybe the first one from Lebanon, not the first one training in MMA, but I
Hmm.
would say maybe the first person from Lebanon to go and fight pro MMA in a cage. This was in about 2010, I think, about 10 years ago.
Before or after jiu-jitsu?
I was still a white belt, man. I was still doing whatever.
Okay, but
I
white
was
belt
still
in what
doing
sense?
whatever.
Like, how did you start jiu-jitsu? Did
I
you?
was, man, this question I get asked a lot, and I don't have an answer to it because there was no jiu-jitsu academy. There
Yeah.
was no jiu-jitsu instructor. I never had my first day of jiu-jitsu. I never had one.
Okay. Interesting. So it
Yeah,
was
it
online?
just no. It was just I'm just training, grappling. I see something on YouTube, I try it.
Wow.
It just started super randomly. I never had a first day of jiu-jitsu.
And when you say training grappling, like you mean wrestling with
Yeah,
people in
yeah.
an
I
MMA
tried
gym?
to look for wrestling in Lebanon. I found a wrestling club. I was training some wrestling.
Okay, cool.
I basically fooled around in all martial arts, and
Interesting.
what started to happen was I started to go into MMA, and
Hmm.
I actually lost. I lost my first fight, and I got submitted.
Was it in Lebanon?
No, it was in Jordan. It was the very first Desert Force. Before it was Arab, it was
Oh,
international.
okay.
And yeah, I fought there. Yeah, I don't know if it was 2009 or 2010. I can't remember. And I got submitted,
Hmm.
and I was like, man, I need to get better in jiu-jitsu if I wanna continue
Interesting.
in MMA.
Yes.
So the more I started to try and understand jiu-jitsu, and you kind of realize that in MMA, maybe only I think Roger Gracie said that maybe only 30% of jiu-jitsu works in MMA.
Mm.
70% of it doesn't really work. And I was like, okay, I was limiting my jiu-jitsu training. And then time after time, I fell in love with that 70%.
Nice. Wow.
I was just like, wow, I want to get better at this 70%.
You enjoyed the
And
sports side as well, like the
everything, I
gi?
loved everything about jiu-jitsu. I liked how effective it was.
Hmm.
And um, it's the only thing, like, man, I'm a small guy. Like,
Okay.
I'm, I've competed at 69 and 62 kilos. So that's pretty small. And
Mm.
people that train with me, they know I can hang with big guys when I train, and
Okay.
you can't do this in any other martial art.
No, you cannot.
I love this aspect in jiu-jitsu that it actually works. It works for me.
Right.
um, I loved competing in jiu-jitsu. I liked learning in jiu-jitsu. Like everything about it was nice. I liked using it. I liked studying it. I liked teaching it.
But that's the
Everything
interesting
everything
thing.
everything about it.
Like you have this falling in love story with jiu-jitsu, and it seemed like you fell in love with it out of necessity rather than you how should I say, a friend told you about it and you got started with your
No,
first
no
class. Like
friend. Yeah,
you needed it.
yeah. I just I think anytime you go down, you know, any effective martial art with live training, with live
Hmm.
sparring, you're eventually gonna encounter jiu-jitsu, whether you do it directly, a friend suggested you, or you
Yeah.
see it on YouTube, it's you can't avoid it. It's, it's the most talked about martial art right now after MMA. So
Man, and I think this is the thing. Your approach was interesting because you approached it from a MMA. You went deep into the shit right away. A lot of people that do martial arts like boxing, I would dare say Muay Thai, even though Muay Thai has a bit of clinching, but let's say boxing and karate and taekwondo. They train for 4 to 5 years, training and sparring, but they never really get into a conflict. And they always have this hesitation because they realize something's missing in their lives. When they do their first jiu-jitsu class and they hold another person and feel that struggle between like the push and pull, that's when everything clicks and like, shit, this is what I've been missing and this is the insecurity that I had. So you felt that gave you this security.
And you kind of notice because I've, the thing I've dealt with the most is probably beginners. So
okay,
I think I've had so many beginners come throughout these years, because you're living in a country where, the majority of people that are going to come are new. They haven't tried it before.
Yeah.
And you kind of realize that there's pretty much two types of people, those that their first reaction is they just want to push you away, and those that want to pull you and hold you. And you kind of, the ones that naturally start to pull you and hold you, you'll start to tell that there's a pattern there, that these guys kind of get it, even though they don't know jiu-jitsu.
Interesting. Yes.
They kind of get it. When you start, someone's their first day, and then you just start to move with them a bit and they just start pushing you away. That now, this guy's going to need more time and effort, to kind of understand what it's about, and you start to see this. It's actually very interesting. Like when you deal with beginners.
Do you think it's a personality thing? Like, is there a personality type that leans closer to jiu-jitsu than others, like an introvert, for example?
No, I know everyone. Like, there's crazy people, smart people. I don't know, man. There's like so many people around, and no.
Okay.
It attracts everyone, basically.
Because you're the guy to ask, man. Because you pretty much, how can I say, godfather jiu-jitsu in Lebanon, regardless of your rank. You were the person there that's like, okay, I need jiu-jitsu. I couldn't find it, so you started providing it, and that's pretty much.
That's pretty much it. Like, it's pretty much it. So there were a few phases. If you want, I can talk to you about them, just to kind of understand how things worked in Lebanon. Maybe we can use them as guidelines. Or
yes.
So when it started, I was into jiu-jitsu, but I had no belt, of course. I had a gi because I used to train judo.
Okay.
Just going around training with people. I looked something up, just random stuff, try moves on friends.
Right.
And then I met a friend who was here from Abu Dhabi, and he told me his cousin, he trains in America, and he's a brown belt.
Okay.
I was
Who's
like,
this
wow,
friend?
like, huh?
He's
one friend. He works in Abu Dhabi. His name is Roni.
Okay.
He works in Abu Dhabi, and he trained a little bit when it was big there, but he came to Lebanon, and he was asking if there's classes. I told him, no, there's no classes, but if you all, we can train together. And he was a beginner at the time, but he told me his cousin trains in Texas, and he's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. I was like,
interesting.
I was like, wow, let's meet this guy. And he's a, he comes to Lebanon, to visit his family. He comes every, summer, winter, all the big holidays, Easter, Christmas, whenever he can get a time off. And he was pretty old, and he's like, for me, I would say he's kind of like the first person that kind of got me into jiu-jitsu. Like, he was this figure. His name is Feris, and all my students know him. He always visits us, even till now. He's now, I think, maybe he's 56 years old.
Okay. Does he live in Abu Dhabi or the States?
No. He lives in Texas. He lives in Houston, and he visits. Cool. He's the cousin of my friend who's from Abu Dhabi.
Got you.
And he's a pretty big guy, strong guy. But much older than when I was. I was pretty young, still in university.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, man, like, let's train with him. Let's see what this feels like.
Okay.
And he smashed me so bad.
Wow.
Man, like, I have we still have this rivalry till now. Like, we're very close friends, but we still have this rivalry till now. Like, no matter what happens, I will never forget those days. He used to just, I don't know how to explain him, and I used to just be able to do nothing with him.
He was the hill you needed to climb.
Yeah. He's like, he came at like that was what jiu-jitsu is.
Wow.
And we kept a good relationship, but he would only come, as I said, like he would only come maybe twice a year, each time stay a week or so.
Okay.
And eventually he's just like, man, who's responsible for you? Who's gonna promote you,
Exactly.
And then he just took it, and he gave me my blue belt.
Okay, I see. So he was your first sensei, professor.
Yeah, he was the first one, and I still have a very close relationship with him. A big shout out to Feris if he's listening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll never forget those days. I hope he didn't hear that. But yeah, he gave me my blue belt, and it was basically just me and him.
Okay.
In a living room with mats.
What kind of mats? Just like
those
puzzle
blue
mats?
Puzzle mats, yeah, those blue puzzle mats, 2.5.
I got you.
2.5 centimeters, just this. It was me, his cousin, and him. That's it.
That's as real as it gets. And you would get this like real jiu-jitsu once or twice a year. What are you doing the rest of the year?
Trying those one or two things.
Milking the shit out of them.
Yeah, so this was the first phase, but like a quick summary of what's happening is basically, I'm like a dog at a dinner table.
Okay.
And the crumbs are just falling down from the table, and I just eat crumb after crumb, and eventually you get full.
What a guy. Yes.
Yeah. This is basically, if you want to look at it as an image.
You lived old school Brazilian Jiu Jitsu in 2010 plus, because like old school Jiu Jitsu, when you talk about it, it's like when Gracie magazine would release an article of a technique,
oh man, don't remind me of Gracie Mags, man. Yeah, I was just,
oh my God, man.
All these were my sources, all these things from back in the day, from about 10, 11 years till now.
Sure.
Now, watching Budo videos and all, like people now don't know what Budo videos are, that used to be like the flow grappling of the time,
Exactly, man.
But yeah, so to continue the story, so this was the first phase, and Feris was this first big person that I have to give credit to. I don't really know where I would be without him right now, but he's definitely someone that kind of put me on track. And so the second phase right now, so I'm in Lebanon, I'm trying to work things out. I'm about, average blue belt level. I wouldn't say anything special.
Okay.
And then I had two friends come in from Dubai as well, and they're a married couple. Their names are Ghalia and Tariq.
Ghalia was being the first Arab woman to do jiu-jitsu.
For sure. Yeah, she was she was the first, and I don't know because I'm not really following who did what, but I would say
sure,
she's done it the longest, and I think she's the first female black belt to my knowledge.
Sure.
So they were living here. They came here. Her husband Tariq was a white belt at the time, and she was a purple belt, and I was a blue belt.
Tariq was Aikido, I believe, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
It seems you know them well, huh?
I do my research well. I don't know them.
Tariq used to train Aikido, and she used to train Jiu Jitsu, and then she kind of got him into Jiu Jitsu.
Right, exactly. When the wife starts kicking your ass, you start listening.
He's like, yeah. It was funny, man. And then, they came into Lebanon, and keep in mind, I was still in university, about graduating at this time.
Okay.
And someone put us in touch. We had a common friend, and they said, my friends are moving to Lebanon. They want to train jiu-jitsu. Can they train with you?
Very cool.
Keep in mind, all this training that I'm talking about was all living room training.
Oh my God.
All of it was living room training. Like, we used to go to gyms to ask, if we could rent the space. Sometimes they'd say yes. Sometimes they would say no, we have classes. They wouldn't know what this jiu-jitsu thing was.
This is 2012?
Earlier.
Okay.
Probably, maybe, I think about 2010. Maybe.
Okay. Interesting. So when Ghalia moved to Lebanon, it was 2010, 2011, I guess.
Yeah, something like this, yeah.
Okay.
So we started, they got in touch with me, and we used to just train in living rooms. I'm like, look, there's no classes here, but we could train together. I wasn't teaching anything at the time. I was just training myself.
Sure.
And then, we got together, and they're like, look, man, there's no one to teach us. Let's just open a class so we could train together, and just kind of, we had nothing big planned in our head. We just wanted to get things going. We just needed partners to train.
Amazing.
She
Yes.
started telling her friends. I started telling friends. Thought it was telling friends, and then it started to grow somewhere. It was actually attracting people. We had up to maybe max 14 people. Like we were surprised. We're like, what?
That's not bad, man.
Yeah, it's not. But it didn't start like this. Like sometimes we were only 3, 4.
Of course, of
But
course.
some days it would hit up to 14, and then we were just like talking. We're like, let's keep doing this. Let's start pushing.
And did you
And
feel
keep
like
in
the
mind,
people were they receptive? Did they like it? Were they intimidated by it?
Most of people honestly would not like it because they would come to class and then they would be, inferior, or I don't know, like they would the two leading the class, one was a girl
I
and
see.
one was a little guy.
I see.
People did not like this. They did not like this at all. Yeah. At first, it was like really hard for them to digest it. They had to take orders from a girl,
Yes.
and then they used to get like beat in sparring by a little guy, and then they're it.
You guys went the extreme route of humbling ego.
Yeah. We didn't do it on purpose, but
Obviously.
that's just how it was. She was the highest belt, so all the respect should go to her, and like I was the only one who was competing and training jiu-jitsu at the time. So things started to build up, and then sometimes she would because she had full-time work, so she was just doing this on the side, and I was just about graduating at the time. And sometimes she couldn't give the class, or maybe she wasn't able to, and sometimes I would have to teach the little stuff that I know. I didn't know too much. And
what were you studying at that time? Sorry,
international affairs. I was
international
doing
affairs.
Science. Yeah. I was studying international affairs.
You had this career in mind aside from jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah, I was not thinking about jiu-jitsu. I always loved martial arts and fighting. If I had thought I would be doing something, it would have probably been like MMA, fighting pro for money. But it wasn't just jiu-jitsu. This wasn't in the plan at the beginning.
Of course not. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was no jiu-jitsu in my country. I couldn't even think of it as an option.
Exactly.
And then Ghalia, she spoke to me, and she started to see that she found that I have this talent in not just training jiu-jitsu, but as well as teaching it.
Okay.
So she's like, why don't you start giving the classes? I'm like, no, like like you're the higher belt, you should give the classes.
Right.
And she kind of talked me into it, and like her impact on me, she's the one that opened my mind to this. She's the one that told me, look, man, you're very talented in this. Like, even if you're doing, man, just do this. That's what she told me.
That's
just
amazing.
do this. We'll support. We'll do whatever you want.
That's
and what
amazing.
we used to do is we used to not take money for any of the classes, and we used to just save the money that the students would get. And then, once a year or whatever, we would bring a black belt to come give a seminar, or maybe I would go travel to compete somewhere. And we just used it into promoting the growth of the sport in Lebanon.
Of course. And you were not affiliated with anybody at that time.
Not affiliated, but she was, because she used to train in Jordan, and after that in the UAE. So
who was she affiliated with?
She didn't really have a direct affiliation, but when she moved to the UAE, she was training with Sian and Olavo.
Olav Abru. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So she was training with them, and then I think in 2012 or 13, she's like, let's bring Sian over to Lebanon.
Nice.
And he came to Lebanon, and obviously they have a close relationship. It was the first time I meet Sian. I've never met him, but she's trained with him. She got her purple belt, I believe, from him. So
at that time, Ghalia was a purple belt when you guys were training?
She moved to Lebanon. Yeah. I was a blue belt. She was a purple belt.
That's like a killer on the loose in Lebanon.
Yeah, because
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And she spoke to Sian, and she kind of she told him what she thinks of me. And at the end of he stayed 2 weeks to help us, and at the end of these 2 weeks, he promoted me to purple belt.
Wait, and what year was this?
2012. I think blue belt was 2010.
Okay.
And purple was 2012 or 13. 12, I think. 2012.
Okay, so this is where I hit a wall, Daniel.
Just 1 second. Sorry.
Yeah.
Lewis, when did I get my purple belt? 2012. 2012.
Okay, good. Because this is where I hit a wall when I was doing the description of this, the thumbnail, and I sent you, and I had black belt. Right?
Yeah.
This was my mistake because fuck, man. I read the article. I read an article that said in 2012 Daniel received his purple belt. So I'm like, did he get shot between then and now?
Oh
What
yeah, yeah.
happened?
No, no, yeah. So basically, what happened? And I was really sad that day.
Oh,
Yeah, I was really sad because uh, I personally didn't feel I deserved the purple at that time. I felt, I'm not taking anything, anything away from anyone, but
I see. I get you. Okay.
I felt I had more to do at blue belt than
Okay.
to get it. So I
But because they
wasn't.
wanted you to teach, they felt like
Yeah,
you.
they're like, they gave it to me more as someone, promoting the sport in Lebanon, teaching, and
Okay.
this wasn't the guy I wanted to become.
Very
At the
interesting.
time, like
Okay.
I was real sad that day.
Yeah.
People were happy, and I was just like, oh man,
You want to fight. You want to compete.
yeah, like I wanted it different, and then
Mm.
uh, yeah, it wasn't the greatest day of my life, but I eventually paid back for that. I was because I
Yeah,
was
you did.
left with no affiliation, man. I stayed purple belt maybe 5 years.
That's what confused the shit out of me because you said I'm
Yeah,
brown
yeah,
belt, bro. I'm not black. I'm like, wait, what? 12 to 20. And are you regularly training? Yes. What?
yeah, yeah. Like I'm training regularly, but to be honest,
Yeah.
man, I have to train, man, like 3 times as much as other people that have a coach that's giving them the shortcuts training. So
Okay.
the time here, it's you know I can't I can't give the same time as other people getting their belts. I mean, I had
Sure.
to learn things kind of the hard way.
I understand,
So
but that's what makes when you absorb information little by little rather than a lot. Because what happens here, like for example, Abu Dhabi today, you're a person, you're a white belt, let me try out Jiu Jitsu. You go, oh, I have 3 black belts on the mat teaching. Each one shares a technique that the godfather of Jiu Jitsu created.
yeah,
And then you're like, what the fuck am I going to learn? Whereas
yeah, yeah,
you're like, side control, underhook. That's it. Like, you had that for a
yeah,
month.
yeah, man. Now there was a point in between this time before the program, before I met Ghalia,
Okay.
that I had no partners for a few months. People
Yes.
didn't want to train with me, and I'm seeing all this stuff now. This quarantine workout, training with a bench, training with a chair. Man, I was doing that for a while.
You were in
People don't
lockdown a
know
long
this.
time ago.
Yeah, yeah. This stuff is none of this impressed me. I'm looking at it. It's yeah, man. I used to do drills on chairs. Man. They were sad times, man. I used to just do hip escapes by myself for like an hour.
Oh man, this
You know?
must feel like justice for you. Like you fuckers that had all this jujitsu. Now you're doing what I did back then.
Yeah, like I had no interest in doing any of these workouts when during the court, man. I already had my time of them. It's
Yeah.
depressing. I know what it's like. I had no other option.
Okay.
Yeah, this was before it, man. I was just doing movement
That's
drills.
incredible, man.
I don't know, training on things, man. I don't know, just like chairs, tables, benches,
So your
just
family is
anything.
around you during this time?
No, no, I would like, I would go to a gym when there's no one there, just jump on these big,
Okay.
yoga balls.
Got you.
Yeah, I don't know. I would just try stuff, see what solo drills are there. There weren't many solo drills at that time on YouTube, so I had to kind of
Absolutely.
improvise stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so this was one phase in my life. So Ghalia is the second chapter in my life, and I think a very critical one, because I think if it wasn't for her,
Hmm.
I don't think I would have done it. Maybe I would have traveled to continue to continue what I studied, or
Interesting.
to work in that field. She's the one that kind of put me in that
Oh,
direction. Like, man, you're good at this. Like, she told me,
okay.
like, she's trained with black belts around the world, and they didn't you know they didn't teach the same way, or they didn't care too much, and she saw something in me.
Right.
um and yeah, this was a changing point, I think. And without any of these two people, without Faris or without Ghali, I think there would be no jiu-jitsu in Lebanon. So it's not just me.
Yeah, or a
So
very delayed jiu-jitsu in Lebanon.
yeah, very delayed, exactly. Maybe someone might have come in the future at some time, but
Yeah.
these two people are very important people for the growth. They're very important. Forget the fact that they're very important for the growth. They're very important for me. They
Absolutely.
they 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 changed my life.
I think the simple fact that they recognize something in you that you yourself didn't recognize says a lot.
Yeah, I still don't recognize it.
I see. Okay, okay.
Still don't recognize it. Yeah.
I think that's
Anyways,
a good sign. That's definitely, I think people who look at themselves as a coach only or somebody that teaches well, they tend to be too, enamored with themselves. Versus you, where you are a competitor, because I see you're active on the competitive scene. I've seen some of your fights, very impressive, very technical. Definitely the 50-50 player, somebody who plays the uncommon games to level the gap, I feel.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So man, man, I wouldn't like if you watch my fights, obviously some of them are good, some of them are bad. Uh, I've had like some, bad competition moments, but I've developed obviously I focused on having a good base,
Okay.
but a lot of my moves are very awkward. I
That's the
have like
thing, yes.
yeah, I have a very awkward jiu-jitsu. I'm not saying it's not technical, but uh, only people that train with me, they kind of feel they're like there's something different. You're weird,
I
It
like that,
just
man. That's
yeah.
unique.
Yeah, because honestly, I was just at one point, like blue and purple, but especially purple, buying DVDs, downloading this, watching this, and then at the end of the day, I became like a shittier version of everyone else.
Okay.
I was just doing what everyone is doing, just worse.
Why?
And
Like,
then
what changed? Like, what made you feel like you got better at that?
no, I just started to try to understand jiu-jitsu more.
I see.
I tried to understand. I watch more fights rather than more instructionals.
I see. Okay.
Trying to see similar type guys, like body types, seeing how they fight, seeing how I deal with people. Um,
Hmm.
I just kind of developed a very like I do basic stuff and then I do awkward stuff. Like if I want to be tricky,
Yeah.
I have that awkward stuff, but I'm always sharpening my basics because you know we have lots of beginners training here, and if you try to do the complicated moves, they kind of don't work on them because they don't
Or
give you the right reaction. So
or they elbow you in the nuts or face.
yeah, something like this. So
Yeah.
my basics are really good, I think, and I owe this to all the white belts that train with me. Because of them, I think I have good
Amazing.
basics. Like they.
I think that's a huge thing. Like definitely everybody recognizes it. When you start teaching, you need to go back and be like, why do I know this? Why the
Yeah,
fuck does this
like
work?
for
Yeah.
example, what starts to happen, and it's something I started to realize. And there's people that are better than me. Like we would go to let's say there would be like a huge training or something, or I would be abroad and I would see people that are better than me. They do better results in competition, maybe even higher
Mhm.
belts. When they roll with white belts, of course they still beat them, but they struggle a little bit. Their moves don't really work. And then when I
Mm.
fight beginners, I feel super comfortable. Like
Interesting.
like if
What
I
what
fight
what do you think is the difference? Like what when
because
you fight a beginner?
I'm constantly training with white belts. Like
But as a person who constantly trains with white belts, what do you recognize as the differentiating factor from a white belt and like a purple belt that makes you train? What do you do differently?
oh ah
Is it distance management? Is it like you focus on putting your
there's
feet
a
on the
lot of things,
hips?
but I think in general, no, there's some purple belts that are really good, but they don't have this. They prefer to keep you close in half guard. They
Yeah.
don't keep any distance whatsoever. They close the distance.
I mean, like
But
with white, when I train with a white belt and I don't know them and it's the first roll, I didn't get a chance to even talk to them.
look, I think with me, the
Yeah,
thing that you know, it depends how much of a hard time they give.
I see. Okay. So you don't go
Like
all out on them in the beginning just to get an
no, never,
understanding.
never, no.
You
But
let them go all out. Okay.
yeah, the more they make me move, of course, the more because I'm always trying to do a simple thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do obviously it doesn't exist, but I'm trying to do like the right pass at the right time, the right sweep at the right time.
Yeah.
Um, the more they make it complicated for me, the more they make me move, the better they are, obviously. So
Sure. Because you've got some ninjas that like are
yeah,
low
yeah,
key. They start at the
yeah,
beginning.
yeah. Oh man,
Even their fist
that,
bump is light.
man, there's some guys that no one knows and no one will ever know because they have no interest in competing. They don't do anything. Man, I have this one guy, man. He's been training with me ever since the beginning.
Okay.
Uh, not beginning. He was training with me ever since blue belt, like the early
Okay.
days of blue belt. And this guy, he's insane. Like I've seen him, like man, he's unbelievably strong, and he knows my game. He's been with me like 8 years or so.
That's the problem. Yes.
Man, this guy gives me trouble, and he gives a lot of people trouble. No one will ever know who he is. He has no interest in competing, but
I like that.
he's man. People that come to Lebanon, they see him, they're like, oh, he's an older guy. He's a nice guy. Man, he's a killer. He's a
I see.
killer, man.
I see.
He travels a lot, like for work, and he does privates with really big names.
Mm.
And man, they're like, what just happened?
That's what I love, man. Like it's not just about competing and pohada. Like there's some people that just love it and they're damn good at it and they don't have to prove anything.
Yeah. He's honestly, man, he's a guy that he has his share of inspiring me, because he's this good, but
Yeah.
he doesn't care.
I love it. I see chat, by the way, on YouTube is like Ramzi.
That's him.
I couldn't help it.
I didn't want to mention any names.
They already know, bro.
That's him. Yeah, he's like he's this guy, man. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like he's the top of the top, man. He's
sure.
He's like one of my secrets, man. Like,
amazing.
He made me so much better in my game, because he knows how to block it, and
yeah.
This guy's. Man.
You need guys like that, especially for you. Like when you don't have that many black belts visiting all the time. You don't have events or competitions in Lebanon. You need guys like Ramzi and the people that you're training with that love jiu-jitsu, want to get technical with you, for you as well, not just for them. They're helping you just as much as you're helping them.
Yeah. To be honest, man, like when my guys are prepping for a competition, and my guys, me nor my guys, we don't care too much about the belt. Right. So, for example, if we're training for, if we're training for any upcoming competition, I'm gonna divide people according to weight, not by belt. Sometimes, of course, I might do it by belt, but sometimes you'll have white belts training with the purple brown belts. So the white belt needs to get better.
Sure.
And the other guys need to also work their basics as well. They can't just keep training with the same person. So, man, like, we don't really look at belts too much, and my guys, they don't ask for promotions. In the early days, maybe people used to. They're like, oh, they look on YouTube. Oh, I want a belt. Yeah. What's the next belt? But now, and no one says anything. They know, and they believe in the training. They believe in that system of just getting better. And when we train for a competition, we train hard.
Yeah.
We train hard, and if one guy's competing, all of us are competing. And
I like that.
And I'm always competing when the guys are competing. So I wouldn't send them and then, just go and watch. My name would be also on the list. Yeah, I would go there, The only times I wouldn't is if I'm not allowed to. So, for example, if it's a competition for maybe under 21, under 21 years old, of course, I'm not allowed to participate, but I train with them as if I'm participating.
You're recognized online, and I see this everywhere, as the Lebanese national team coach.
Yeah.
What's the story behind that?
Man, I don't know how to say this in a. I'm just gonna. I don't know. I don't know how to say this, but
say it how you want to say it, man. Yeah.
Look, man. I'm a competitor.
Yes.
I'm a coach. I have the international referee certificate.
Okay.
I'm not saying I'm the only guy there, but maybe I'm the only guy working for all this. So that's why I don't know how to say it, but
I love how humble you are.
I'm competing just as they are, so I don't consider myself like I'm just like them. I try my best to help them, so all of us do the same result. If there's there was no one better to coach us, so I had to do it.
Man, Daniel, I gotta stop you there because I feel right off the bat how humble you are and how like modest you are being towards yourself. At the same time, I recognize the big weight that was put on your shoulder when you were still like you're in love with jiu-jitsu. You want to learn jiu-jitsu, you want to dive into the well of jiu-jitsu and come out refreshed and keep trying new things. But at the same time, you are put in a position you have to teach and people are immediately looking up to you, which is a major responsibility. That's why credit is due where credit is earned, and you've earned it tenfold even when you didn't want to earn it. You know what I mean? That's why I appreciate people like you. It's a very sacrificial thing that you also did. Part of the jiu-jitsu journey is being free.
You know, like you sacrifice a lot, no matter what you choose to do in life. But the thing that people don't understand, especially about jiu-jitsu and the sacrifices you make, is, you know, I've sacrificed so much for the sport, for the art, for everything. But one of the things I sacrificed a lot for jiu-jitsu is jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You know,
I
instead of
completely
maybe
understand.
teaching, I can be, you know, abroad doing a training camp, competing somewhere,
100%.
you know, but instead, yeah. So I had to sacrifice with many countless things. One of the things I had to sacrifice was jiu-jitsu itself. You know, one aspect of jiu-jitsu, but
it's funny
yeah.
because things happen. Like you said, you got your purple belt quickly, and then you paid that price, the iron price, by being a purple to brown 8 years.
Yeah, that was quite some time. But no, you know, I never asked about any belts. I just, you know.
And that's why I think your students don't either, because look, everybody follows.
They saw that. They saw that. I think the thing with them, or the thing that we have here, is you know, they kind of have someone to, I would say, you know, just someone to kind of see, man, how is Daniel training? What's he doing? Okay, we're just gonna do the same.
Yeah.
A lot of people, man, a lot of people that started training with me, you know, recently, within these past like 2-3 years, a lot of them don't even know any of the stuff I'm telling you right now.
I know this.
There's a lot of students. Yeah, there's a lot of students that are training now. They think I just came from San Diego as a brown belt. I lived there my whole life and just
I love
came.
it.
Yeah, they don't really know the story, but
I'm seeing a lot of revelations on chat. Like a lot of people like, really? That's how you met Ferris? That's how you met this guy? Like,
yeah, I used to joke. I used to tell people he's my grandfather. I won't lie.
I like it. So you like leaving people in the midst.
Huh?
You like leaving people in the fog of the situation.
No, I just don't talk much, but
okay.
But I like to pick on Ferris. I'm not gonna lie. I like to pick on this guy. So
I got you.
I try my best to, you know, because when he used to come to Lebanon to train, he used to just train like me and him. He wasn't used to this class. And then all of a sudden, every year he comes, there's more and more people. And he's like, what's happening? And then I tell him, like, you have to give the class. And he would be all shy about it, you know? He would just be like, no, you know, I'm like, you know, and I just like to make him feel awkward. So I start telling people he's my grandfather. I start making up all these stories. And I just keep making it awkward for him. But it's all just...
it's payback.
Yeah, it's payback. It's payback. He bullied me, man. Like,
I get you totally, man. I'm with you.
he bullied me. So yeah, if I can make him feel awkward,
hell yeah, man.
It's good for me.
But my man, I really do believe, just like we're saying, like there was that delay between your purple and brown as a price you paid for getting the purple early, according to what you thought.
Yeah, I was real sad, you know.
I'm sure you were, but I think this sacrifice that you feel you've done in terms of jiu-jitsu is going to come back tenfold. And that's why, man, like I couldn't not talk to you. Like when I understood a little bit crumbs, as you said, I understood crumbs of what you were saying.
Yeah, this is the first time the whole story is coming together, actually.
And I'm so happy it is, because people deserve... People need to hear this from you, man. Okay, I wanted to ask you, just to recollect on this time, what are some of the hardships you felt setting this up, starting to teach, in terms of your own techniques or in terms of teaching? What was the difficult parts?
All of it was difficult.
Wow.
Man, I'm telling you, like, we had no one really backing us up in the past. Now, man, our reputation got good. You know, people started to find us. We started to get more recognition, more help. It's easier to approach, you know, people for sponsorship or help, because now we made something of it. But in the early days, there was nothing.
Yes.
And one thing that I found was really kind of hindering the growth of jiu-jitsu in Lebanon was from the first generation of people that started, you know, training with me. I would say most of them they had to leave the country either for work or to continue their studies. So from the first generation, I think we just have 3 or 4 guys still training.
Yeah.
That's it.
The talent
from the first generation. And we had so much talent coming in. We still have, I'm not saying we don't have any talent now, but I'm saying lots of guys that would be there with me, they just had to leave. Tarik used to train with me. Do you know Tarik Sleiman?
Yes.
He's a very good friend of mine. He used to train with me. He started jiu-jitsu with me in Lebanon. Yeah.
Interesting.
And then he traveled to Thailand, became a full-time MMA fighter, and he's doing real well. I'm happy for the guy, man. He always visits us when he comes back. But
amazing.
When I got my purple belt, he had 3 stripes on his white belt on the same day, or 2 stripes if I remember.
Were there a lot of people that learned jiu-jitsu through you and then traveled to wherever they traveled and continued and reached like black belt or brown belt?
There are. Yeah, Tarik is one of them. Tarik is a black belt.
Anyone else?
Yeah, there's a few guys, but I don't think any of them got their black belts yet. But there's a lot of guys, man. There's a lot of guys that continue doing jiu-jitsu. Man, in Canada, like 3 purple belts. Well, one of them is here now, but 2 purple belts, real badass purple belts.
Amazing.
Real badass purple belts.
Do they touch base? Like whenever they come back to visit family, they come train with you guys?
No, we text regularly.
Nice. Okay.
If they have a problem with their rolls, they text me. Like
amazing.
It's hilarious, but they were from Hamad was from the first generation or the second generation, I would say. Yeah, he's still training there. He's a killer, man. Unfortunately, a lot of people, he doesn't have time to compete. He's he was pre-med when he was training jiu-jitsu. Now he's a doctor.
Okay.
But he's continuing. He's a killer. And we have Mirella also. I don't know if you've heard about her, but she's doing real well. She took gold at World Masters, purple belt as well. Yeah. And they're training in Canada, man. They never stopped, and we text all the time.
I see. Mirella's training with Firas Zahabi in TriStar, right? Or no.
Now she used to. That's where she started. But now she's training with BTT.
Yes.
And all of them, even Hamad is training in BTT as well. And my friend who's from Canada, he's from there. He travels between Lebanon and Canada.
I see.
Shout out to Lewis.
Interesting. Right okay, so that's Lewis. All right.
Yeah, he's even Lewis, man. He went to Africa for work. He was teaching. There was no one there. He was in Kenya, and he was giving the class most of the time.
That's incredible. I had a podcast with a gentleman, Tawfiq Jean Boucas from Mauritius, and he was the first person to start jiu-jitsu in Mauritius, and he was telling me that story. It's crazy. Like you guys have that in common as well.
Yeah, man. Starting jiu-jitsu is really hard, man, because it's a really awkward looking sport. I'm not gonna lie. Like if you don't know what jiu-jitsu is, it's hard to promote it.
Very difficult, especially in an Arab culture.
If they haven't seen it, they're like, "What are you doing?"
Yes.
But once you see it, once you try it, once you like it, it's easy to like. Right now, I never promoted jiu-jitsu. I never told people come train, try it.
You never fought against other martial arts.
If I see people interested, I would kind of, I'll tell them, no, just come give it a try. If I know there's an interest coming from their side, but I'll never, go out and start telling people you have to try this. It's gonna change your life, and
I got you.
Yeah, I don't do this.
So you never were in a situation where you had to prove it against somebody who came in and be like, "What's this bullshit? I can kick your ass."
No, I've been doing this for, yeah.
Oh shit!
I still do it till today.
Because man, I know Lebanon, man.
Today, man. I still do it till today. Like, but now, man, I have like a team of like savages. Wow. Before it used to just hang on me.
Oh shit! Okay, now you got people to do it. Oh
man, there's a team of like blue belt killers, man.
I love it.
They're scary, man. These blue belts, man. If they knew me when I was a blue belt, man.
Yeah.
They would trash me.
And
it's not even funny. It's not even funny how they would trash me. They would kill me.
But that's credit to you, because now they're getting a lot more with jiu-jitsu than you got back then. But this is the interesting thing, Daniel, I have. Like Lebanon, I see it very similar to Jordan in the sense of it has a fighting culture. You see some Arabic countries, especially I will say the Gulf. The Gulf, while it has great fighters, it doesn't have a fighting culture. Because I believe a fighting culture comes from a lot of difficult circumstances, war backgrounds, poverty, difficult hardships, and people sometimes flock to fighting either as a de-stress or as a means for fortune. Lebanon's fortune came in Muay Thai, I believe. Like Muay Thai was the first real sprout of combat.
Man, Muay Thai is doing real well in Lebanon.
Yes.
Real well. I think it spread in the Middle East because of Lebanon.
Yes.
Of course, I'm not one to talk because I don't know the exact details, but like Muay Thai in Lebanon is really, really good.
Yes.
And they have like
I believe it was the first
so
thing
many
to be
fighters.
introduced to. It was introduced to the military in Lebanon by a guy, family named Kiblawi, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of.
I don't know exactly how it started. I can't say, but man, he's pushing Muay Thai real well. Like it's huge here, man. Like
Yeah.
So probably 20% of people that used to come train with us from the beginning till now in these 10 years, they all came to train with Muay Thai shorts.
Nice. I get it. Yep.
It's not nice rolling with people that wear those shorts, but yeah.
But that's why I think you have a
Muay
perfect
Thai
combination.
Here is really, really good, man. Like I think even the level here is very good. Like
exactly, like
it's international level, yeah.
You look at guys like Mo Fakhreddin, you look at guys in MMA right now.
Fakhreddin's a beast.
They come from legit Muay Thai, and now they're learning Jiu Jitsu, adding that on, and I definitely think we're gonna get some killer MMA fighters from Lebanon very soon.
I think there are really good MMA fighters from Lebanon, and like I'm not gonna name any now because I don't want to forget any names, but man, so many good MMA fighters. Like they have this talent, they have this fire, this fight, but there's not much support here. This is the main issue.
Yeah.
So eventually they're like, man, where do we go from here? Like, what do we do? How do we make money? How can we do this? Some people have to take off from work, to go take a fight, not even a vacation, like just to take a fight, man. Like,
this is the thing that gets me the most, and it upsets me because I see how much potential we have and how much talent we have in the region, especially I say Lebanon and Jordan have really shocked me in the talent that they have.
Man, and Jordan, man, it's like a country of savages, man. They're so good.
Man, I know it's in the water, it's in the mensaf. I don't know what it is, but definitely they've got some talent. But it upsets me when I see that they feel like they have to go to the States or Sweden or wherever to start their career.
For honestly, it was doing real well. I don't know what happened because I stayed out of the MMA scene. But at one point, no, man, MMA was doing real well in the Arab world. It was broadcasted on TV. Man, so many good fighters, so many good competitions all the time. Yeah. I don't know exactly why it stopped. Of course, like I said, because I'm out of the scene. But man, like.
It's the money, man. Like, in the end of the day, you can't run a business. You can't run a promotion. What happens is we have a lot of wealth in this region as well.
Probably. I think though there's more of a deeper problem. I don't want to like talk about.
No, understandable.
I don't want to talk about any specific place, but I think every Arab country is guilty of this. Is that people don't train together, in the same country, Mm-hmm. There's too many rival teams. But the talent is there, man. The talent is there, man. Like I've been to Jordan many times, and lots of people come from Jordan to Lebanon, and we always end up training. And I'm on good terms with everyone from Jordan. Man, there's so much talent there, man. Like so many killers, man. Like you can't explain it, but man, you find out that they don't all train together.
Yeah,
man. Imagine if they all train together, man.
I think, man,
they're scary, man.
It's a difficult situation, bro. Like they're tough. Their toughness is inherent in this Arab culture that we have, and sometimes part of our culture can inhibit us rather than enhance us. And our culture is very much, we go close-knit, we go tribal, we are Bedouin origins, we go tribal in this sense. So in MMA feels the same, but we need platforms like this. We need to talk to people like you on the. I saw the power trip.
It's 11. That was me. No, that was me.
Oh fuck! Okay.
I pressed the thing by mistake.
I'm like shit. Okay, as long as
we have electricity, we're good, man. We're good.
Perfect. So, what I was just trying to say is that when we talk to people like you, other people in Lebanon that might not be training with you, right? And when I talk to, for example, Rana Qubbaj, when I talk to some people in Jordan, they get to hear each other, be like, cool, I like this person. They're not so bad. Or they go through the same shit as me. What happens is that you may not ever train with each other, but there'll be a mutual respect now. And that mutual respect is the seed that's planted that you harvest later. And I really think that we're doing that right now. We're planting seeds.
Man, I think what you're doing is really good, man. You know, a lot of stories are not going out there. You're helping, man. My story was never gonna go out there.
Man,
or maybe in the future, but like this week it wasn't going out there. Like now, thanks to you,
I'm so happy to hear this.
And I think there's so many other stories. There's so many other stories.
There is, and there's a lot more to learn as well, because understanding how you started teaching, whether you wanted to or not, and how you grew into what you are today. I want to understand the difficulties that you found in terms of like setting up the academy in Lebanon.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go on to. I told you there's 4 phases. I went through 2, and there's gonna be two more people that helped me a lot. I'm gonna talk about. But just one thing to add here is when I started teaching, just to make things clear of what my approach to teaching is, my goal at the time, especially even till now, it hasn't changed. I want to make training partners. You know, I wanted to make, you know, man, I don't hide details from anyone. Man, I tell people how to beat me. Amazing. I tell them, man, you need to do this. Like, people know that I don't hide information from anyone. I'm trying to make, you know, people as good as possible, as fast as possible. I have no interest in, you know, keeping them, like, of course, you know, it's taking a lot of time to, you know, for belt promotions and everything, but
sure.
It's not because I'm doing it on purpose.
Right.
You know, it's, man, their level is becoming so good so fast. And man, every generation, they're like crazier and crazier. Like, man, generation now, like I said, man, like, you know, the white belts are all tough, man. Everyone's like, man, these aren't white belts, you know? And the blue belts, man, they're just like killers. Mm-hmm. Killers, man. Like, I can't stop.
It's changing, man. It's changing.
Yeah. These guys, man, they got like this direct information. They're, you know, they train hard. They see how to train, man. They just do what they have to do.
I think the physical modalities as well, like people are more aware of what physical conditioning they need for jiu-jitsu than the past. So they're being more fit and the jiu-jitsu quality is higher.
Yeah. Like, man, I can't count all the talented people that have came across. But the only unfortunate thing is, man, no one right now has an ability to train and fight professionally.
Yeah.
In jiu-jitsu, and maybe in 1-2 years they might have to leave. You know, maybe, you know, something might change in their life. Maybe they graduate, they need to leave, they need to travel. I can't keep hold of people. I don't promise people a future that I can't guarantee.
Absolutely.
You know, at the end of the, you know, I'm sharing this time with them. I'll just give them the best of what I can. You know, and what they decide to do with it, where they decide to go, man, like, it's fine. Like, we shared this time, you know.
That's incredible, man. You've been planting seeds long before this conversation.
Yeah, like, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, they all I would say is that, man, the guys now, man, they have a very good future. They're right there, man. Like, you know, they compete internationally, man. They do well.
Yep.
Even if they lose against world-class people, they do real well. It's not like, you know, it's not like back in the day, you know,
where the gap is big, if the gap is getting smaller.
Yeah, I don't think there's a gap, you know.
Nice.
And you start to hear it. Like, at first, man, Lebanon was like, oh, you know, you have a Lebanese, it's gonna be an easy fight. Now, no, man, they're just like, oh,
definitely not the case. Yeah,
you know. I'll tell you a funny story, man. People don't know this. I'm not gonna mention any names, but this is a funny story, man. Like,
okay,
I was competing maybe 2015 or 16, something like this. We were competing in the Asian Championships in, I think it was in Thailand.
Okay,
I forgot, man. I forgot the exact details, but I had a very close fight with one guy, and I lost it on advantages. Like, people were saying, it was a ref mistake. It was a little bit biased, the fight. I don't want to
Okay.
mention the countries. It's not important. It's not important. I lost the fight. That's what's,
Okay.
I didn't win that fight. And then, you know, I didn't see the guy for like 3 years, 4 years. And then, 2 years ago, he fights one of my students in competition. He was the next guy on the list.
Payback's a bitch.
And, yeah. And the guy at that time, the guy was he was a blue belt, and he still is.
Okay.
He was still a blue belt, like the guy that I fought. It was in Niwaza rules, which means open belts. So I was a purple belt. He was a blue belt at the time, and he stayed blue belt, man. I think he's like, I don't know how long he's been a blue belt for.
There's some sandbagging action.
Yeah. One of my students was fighting him. I didn't mention anything, and my student was on a roll.
Okay.
He was winning fight after fight, and then he sees this guy, and I'm like, damn. I didn't say anything. I'm not gonna,
the stars aligned.
No, not aligned, but he was gonna fight this guy, and
Okay.
I didn't say anything, and I'm just looking, and I just told him, man, this is gonna be an easy fight for you, you've prepared well, and then the fight goes on, and I'm like, yeah, the other guy's real tough too, he's a real good competitor,
Sure.
and at that time, I lost to him on advantages, as I said. Man, my student took his back and tapped him in a minute or 2 minutes.
Boom.
And I was like, whoa.
I love it, man. I love it. It just shows you.
I hate it. He doesn't even know. He doesn't know the story. No one knows the story. Only you and me.
I like that, man. I like
now
that.
everyone listening knows the story as well. But
we'll
I
keep
never
it between us.
Never mentioned it before. Never mentioned it after. This is the first time. Yeah.
It's something beautiful that happens with competition is you have the coach-student relationship. It's different. You don't have your coach with you in competitions, did you? When you went to compete, did you have a guy that's Daniel do this, or hyping you up? You've been training, preparing. Did you have a guy like that?
Not at all. Sometimes I used to have friends that I would meet in competitions, and then they'll be like, "Oh, we'll help you. We'll help you."
That's not the same, though.
I don't even know what their voice is like. I never even knew.
You can't spot them out.
Yeah, I never went in. The last few times, because I used to, they started to go big on JJIF and JJU tournaments. So we used to go as a national team.
I see, yeah.
And I used to register as a competitor. And then they're like, who's the national coach? Just put my name, It was just this, it was just something. Yeah. It wasn't like I'm going there. Okay, I'll coach everyone. And then when I go to fight, I'd have one of my students just, sit there, tell me stuff. I mean, they know how I fight, what moves I do, just as much as anyone else. Even if they're blue belts they know my game better than any black belt.
As much so, it is different, right? It's different where you have your immense trust in a coach that is higher level than you, that watches out for mistakes that you're doing, muscle memory mistakes. It doesn't have to be technical mistakes. It could just be a muscle memory thing. So that's where I think, with your story regarding this competition and the competitors, your student versus the other guy, circumstance is a big thing in competition. Sometimes how you feel that day, you're on fire. Sometimes you're not. Having your coach by your side is huge.
It is huge. But unfortunately, man, it's too late for that for me.
Yeah. You never know.
I start talking to myself during some fights, but in my head, not out loud, of course. But
sure.
Just man, I just got this habit to just listen to myself, no matter who's there.
Sure.
It sucks, but that's this is recently I've been lucky enough to travel with my students.
Right.
Before I used to travel alone, man. I remember, man, I had 2012, I think I went to the World Pro I think it was when I was I don't remember. I think it was when I was purple.
Okay.
I went to the World Pro, and I was fighting one guy from the UAE in the second round, and man, the whole arena was against me.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, man, flags everywhere. Of
course.
course, because I'm fighting him, my fight is on the
on the screen.
it's on the big screen.
Oh no.
I think they had Renzo Gracie coaching at that time.
Oh
And
man.
Renzo Gracie was there next to, like, you know, like he's there right next to us on the on the mats, like just like screaming. Man, everyone was against me. It felt like my parents were there; they would be against me also. You know, like,
I don't know this guy.
yeah, man, like, you know, everyone is against me. You know,
Wow.
and
Okay.
yeah, I lost that fight as well, but I think I lost it mentally before I lost it
Definitely.
physically, man.
That's the
It's
fight game as
horrible,
well.
man. Like, it's horrible. Like, it's a horrible experience to go at first, but then I got used to it. And
Yes.
then the irony is that when I got used to it, man, like the beginning phases were hard, man. Like, my losses would be way more than my wins, like by far. And you know, no one would be there to criticize or say what I should have done, what I shouldn't have done.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you know, the mindset of the people I was training with in Lebanon at the time, they were more like, "Man, just be proud, be happy of what you did. You know, you're going there competing by yourself. You're," and I was like, you know what? No, man, we could do much more. We can do much more. Like,
Absolutely.
people used to think of Lebanon as like, you know, it's, you know, there's no level there. There's no jiu-jitsu. There's nothing. And I was like, no, man, I'm gonna change this.
But you know,
I'm gonna
Daniel,
change this.
there's something that needs to be said about this environment. Something that I really appreciate about what the UAE did is they turned it into a really professional sport.
Man,
Because,
damn, what they did is unbelievable. Like, unbelievable.
but
Like,
like, I imagine
all my respect to the UAE Federation and
that's the
everyone
thing.
behind what they did. Like, we were lucky. We were super lucky that Lebanon was close to UAE.
Yeah,
We're super
exactly.
lucky, super lucky. Like, if we were in the middle of nowhere, man, I don't think jiu-jitsu would have grown here
Yeah,
at the way it did.
yeah.
Uh, Man, we were super lucky, and yeah, my biggest respect to the UAE Federation, and what they're doing is crazy. They're
It's
not just helping the UAE. They're not just helping. They're helping all of
absolutely
us.
not. Absolutely
All
not.
of us, man. They're helping all of us.
It's made a huge difference on the region. But the point I wanted to say is it's a double-edged sword for the other countries, and not to say it's a bad thing. It's a good thing. But
That's
in
good.
the beginning, when a person comes from, let's say, Lebanon, they just started training 2012, 2013. I'm liking this jiu-jitsu thing, and let me compete. They look at Muay Thai competitions and stuff, or they look at jiu-jitsu competitions around them, and they're very basic, simple. Then they go to Abu Dhabi. They're in the bullpen, warm-up area, referees wearing suits and ties, big screen TVs, media. Like, holy fuck, what did I get myself into? There's a
Yeah,
huge
man.
intimidation factor in the beginning.
Yeah, man. UAE, man. Like, you go there, you stand behind a little curtain, you're trying to peek to see what's happening. Like,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah, man. I know the feeling. Like,
I've seen the World Pro grow, man. Like, I've been there almost every year. Maybe like 3 years I didn't go, but man,
unreal.
I've been seeing it grow, man. Like, it used to be, I think, like, it changed, man. I was there when like the white and blue were together. Purple, brown, black was one division. When
Yeah,
they used to have Nogi at the
yeah.
World Pro, um, man, you used to be able to fight open weight before you can fight weight as well. You didn't need to qualify for it, and then they stopped the open weight, man. Uh,
Now they
yeah, it was
stopped
real
white
fun.
and blue belt, by the way.
What? Oh yeah, yeah.
But
It's in the World Festival or something, like they give it a different name.
they're going to
Something like,
make it part of the less professional side of
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah. It's
with
in
the
the,
kids competitions.
I think World Festival it's called, or something like that. Yeah.
Because now you have AGP, you have JJAU, you have a bunch of different ones. But what I
It's
understood is
insane,
that
man. It's insane. Like,
they're trying to get it to the Olympics. That's what it is. They're
yeah,
trying to create
yeah.
the right mix.
You know, we were, you know, they were. I was there during the World Games in 2017,
Mm,
and the World Games, if people don't know, it's basically like the Olympics of the non-Olympic sports.
hmm.
So it happens once every 4 years, the year after Olympics.
Yes,
And in 2017 was the first time that jiu-jitsu makes it into the World Games, along with the other sports. So that's a very big step forward. And
absolutely.
from all the other sports, uh, jiu-jitsu had the most countries participating in it, and you'd have to have qualified to get into the World Games. You can't just go there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got the qualification to go there. I got a wild card. I got the draw. I think there weren't many people in each division because the number of medals were limited. Um, but yeah, man, I was representing Lebanon, and there was just
Amazing.
another guy from Muay Thai representing Lebanon, and that's just it from all the other sports.
2 guys from Lebanon.
From Lebanon for all the sports.
Whoa.
One from Jiu Jitsu, one from Muay Thai. And they have everything. I think, I don't know, they have like some grass volleyball. I don't know, man. There's lots of sports, you know?
Sure. But that's crazy to me. Like, because Lebanon is a country. That's the thing. Well, inside Lebanon, outside Lebanon, like you said, there's a lot of talent that starts off in Lebanon, then goes to Australia, goes to Brazil, goes to
for sure,
North America.
And
if you were to take them, it would be incredible.
Yeah, like, and when I was there, it's man, like, I had no one traveled with me. I was there alone. And I was hanging out actually with the Jordanian team, man. Like,
I see.
You know, like, man, the Jordanian Olympic Committee, they treated me like I was one of their own. Like, I was just hanging out with them, and like they just like, man, respect. And yeah, man, I didn't have a uniform. I had nothing. The volunteers that used to work there, they used to come up to me. They're like, "Which country are you from?" And I'm looking at my clothes. They don't match, you know. I'm like, Lebanon. They're like, huh? What? I'm like, yeah.
That's amazing. And you didn't talk to anybody in Lebanon. Did you try to talk to any Ministry of Sports or something to try to organize something?
I had just someone help me.
Okay.
From his own. He was the only one that actually helped me, and he believed in this. But the rest, man, I was rejected from all kinds of help.
Until today?
Until today, it's hard, man. I remember, like, I approached Adidas in Lebanon, and I'm like, look, like, you know, I already bought the ticket. I bought everything. Like, it's fine. Just give me like a uniform, you know, just like they told me they can't. There's no budget for a uniform, like a jacket and pants.
That's insane.
I just went there like wearing whatever, random stuff.
Yep.
Big shout out to Adidas in Lebanon.
Huge shout out to Adidas in Lebanon.
Huge shout out to Adidas in Lebanon.
Yeah. But that's going to change, man. Somebody smarter and wiser than Adidas marketing team is going to catch on to this.
I'll never get over this, man. I still have the email, man. Like,
don't get over it because they missed out.
It's just hilarious, man. Like, just man. I'm gonna I'm not gonna say much more about that topic, but yeah, it's we don't get help from our airline. We don't get anything.
All of this will change. I truly believe it. We need to show, for one, they need to know that there's a community, right? Yeah. They need to know that there's a community that's together, not rivals, right? Fighting towards it. That in the end of the day, you may be a team, there may be another team in Lebanon, but it's to the loss of everybody if these teams don't have mutual respect. Once there's mutual respect, there's a community. You can't deny Jiu-Jitsu is a very powerful thing, man. Look at Jiu-Jitsu around the world. The police in the US now are petitioning and swearing that they'll teach all police officers Jiu-Jitsu to avoid the shit that happened in the last month. They recognize what Jiu-Jitsu is, and soon Lebanon will. Very soon.
I mean, they're starting to be honest. Man, a lot of people, like, the demand is real high, man. Lots of people are asking for Jiu-Jitsu, man. Like, I told you, like, I'm not marketing out there. People are coming to us.
Yes.
They're asking for it. Yeah, man, it's huge. I think it has a huge future in Lebanon. So let me get to the third.
Let's go.
Third chapter. Maybe, let's say.
Yes.
So Tara and Ghalia had to move. They had to move out.
What year?
Lewis, you remember when Tara and Ghalia left Lebanon? Maybe 2015? 14,
he's a historian. Okay.
But yeah, he's been there. He's been Lewis has been with me a long time, and like
God bless Lewis, man.
Yeah. Hey. So I think around 2014, 15. So
okay.
Like, my backbones were gone, you know? Like, I was just alone right now. And I met like, our goal was to start an academy, and we rented a place actually. I don't know if there's any photos of it, but like, we used to have this little gym we rented for a time. Man, it was so small.
Was it the basketball court one?
No, man. It was like a real small place in Ein Embrace. Super
Okay.
small. Like we couldn't fit barely anyone inside. The roof was like really, really low.
Oh
Just
shit.
something to have because no gym was accepting for us to open full time or
Sure.
not full time, at least every night. They're like, we don't know what jiu-jitsu is. How could we open it every night? So we
Okay.
rented like a really small place and people couldn't fit there anymore.
Mm.
And then, we're like, okay, let's just, we'll try to figure something out. And then during that time, they had to leave. And man, I was super sad. I was super sad, like having them leave. Like they're a big part of my life, even till now. Even till now, every time I
I'm
go to
sure.
Dubai, I always visit them. Um, our relationship is still the same. Uh,
Nice.
so I met someone during this time, someone who was training with me. His name is Amin.
Okay.
So a big shout out to him as well. He was the guy that he's like, man, you know what? I'm gonna support you, and he helped get the mats. Like for all those listening, all the guys watching now, like the gym that we train in now, it's like 90% because of him. Like he helped get the mats, he helped open it, he helped set everything
Wow.
up,
Wow.
uh, and he was a real big help. And
Was he training
so
with you or?
yeah, he was training with me, and he fell in love with it as well, man. He started it just as maybe an extra sport, something to get into. And man, he got into it, and unfortunately, he had to leave as well. And he's working and living in London right now.
Mm.
So of course, a big shout out to him. But of course, I was left kind of alone again. But
Sure.
he helped establish this gym that we're training in now. It's not the best of gyms, but it has everything we need. You know,
Nice.
man, so many sad moments on those mats and hard training, and only people that have visited that place, that they'll know.
Yeah.
They'll know the sacrifices put in that place.
What an incredible story, man. Like
Like
there's
only hard training there. Like visitors come and they expect, like, and then they just end up like, what just happened?
yeah.
Just
So where does the San Diego part come in? Like so far I don't hear you traveling
Okay, yeah. So
outside.
San Diego was during this time, in between Ghalia and Amin.
Okay.
So we're like, Ghalia's leaving. We need an affiliation. We need to keep something running. So I had no affiliation. I had no instructors,
Okay.
and I was like, that's some people would look. Oh man, it's a bad thing, like,
Yeah.
And then I took the positive side of it. I'm like, man, at least I get to choose who I want to be with, you know.
Interesting.
So I was like, okay, man, like, what's the best team? What's going on? And at that time, man, man, I used to look at Atos as like the top two. I still do. I still think they're one of the best teams. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Uh,
They were
man,
the first to greatness, I think.
yeah, they're so good, man. They have this, man. Like, okay, a lot of people they say that, man. Like, people are already good before they move to Atos, and no, man. Like, they've been having this chain since forever, man. Like,
Yeah.
Andre is a very good coach, man.
Ramon Lemos, man, is a very underrated
Yeah, yeah,
member of
yeah,
that
man. No,
duo.
man. Professor Ramon and Professor Andre, man. These two guys, man, they're
Yeah.
they're insane, man. They're insane. And at that time, you had both the Mendes brothers as well. You're
Exactly.
talking, man. This is the nothing can be better.
Yeah.
But at the time when we affiliated with Atos, Professor Ramon was I think more. I
The
think he
UAE.
was coaching. No, he wasn't in UAE yet. I think he was coaching Anderson Silva. He was working with MMA fighters at the time.
Yes. Okay. So
Professor Andre was the one who was training the jiu-jitsu guys, the sport jiu-jitsu, the competitors.
so 2014 again. This is
Yeah. This was, I think, 2014. Yeah, something
okay.
like this.
Yeah.
No, actually, 2013 is when we got affiliated. 2013. They left in 2014.
Okay. I see.
So
So
I
you
was
got
looking
affiliated
for.
with Atos before Ralia and
Yeah,
her
but we
husband
knew
left.
that they were leaving. It was during that time.
Okay.
So I was like,
What
man,
was
I
that
really.
process like? Did you travel there? Did you meet them?
Yeah,
and
I'm gonna tell you this.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. So
Okay.
I was like, man, I'm sending emails, and they didn't have an affiliation program back then.
Sure.
Uh, Professor Andre didn't have this kind of he didn't have this vision of making a huge school around the. They weren't ready for it yet. They just had their school in San Diego, and they're trying to make champions.
Yep.
Then I was like, man, you know, I was going emails back and forth with the administration there, the management, and you're talking to someone that doesn't know me.
Yep.
I don't think they knew jiu-jitsu. They were just literally in the management. They were just, you know, they're like, let's see how maybe we could work things out. And then
Yes.
I was like, you know, I need to find a way to get into this team. So I consulted with Tara and Ghali. I'm like, man, let's do something. Like, you know, how much money have we saved up so far? And it wasn't much, but then Andre was in. He just came off the ADCC victory, I think, against Braulio Estima in 2013, and it was in China. And the week after that, he was staying 1 week in Philippines, you know, giving a camp because he had one team over there.
Okay.
It's one team that was under Professor Ramon as well. So I was like, man, he's going to Philippines for a week. Like, man, he'll notice me if I went there, you know.
Okay.
So I'm like, you know what? Let's do this, you know. And then we looked at the budget. We don't have enough. And then just the, you know, so the students were like, man, like, let's just save up for this cause, man. And then just people were helping for this.
Wow.
And man, like a couple weeks later, man, I was on a plane going to Philippines. And I trained there for a week, and I got to meet with him personally and train with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he liked me, man. He liked me, and I was like, I didn't believe it at first. And then I told him the situation in Lebanon. I told him, you know, we're not affiliated with anyone. I train alone. I have nothing. And we kind of opened door to this affiliation system. They didn't have one before. We were one of the first countries affiliated to.
That's amazing,
ATOS
man.
Before it became big.
Because that was his vision in the beginning, like with Ramon Lemos when they started. They wanted to create a blueprint for success to put it in around the world, but they never had that opportunity. And
yeah,
and I think you're right. Yeah, like 2013, 14, there was no other ATOS.
Yeah, there was just there was one team in Philippines which was under Professor Ramon,
Mm-hmm.
and there was one in Hong Kong under Professor Rodrigo, and the rest were in America and Brazil. That's it.
Amazing. Okay.
That's it. Like Lebanon was one of the first ones, and of course, I don't think anyone knows this as well. And then it obviously it got everywhere. Like a lot of countries now that have an ATOS affiliation, they actually asked me, like, how can we get this? Can you put us in touch? And I'm like, yeah, I can help for sure. Yeah.
Sure, why not? Let me check my contact book.
So yeah, it kind of started. It was a big thing back then, you know, like it was a huge thing. And because it was so rare, I liked it, man. Like, you know, I was representing a team that lots of people couldn't represent. And I did 2 training camps there for the Pan Ams in 2014 and 2015. So I got to see how they train for competitions, their mindset, like, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, it helped a lot. So we came back and we're like, man, we want to move forward with this school. And then, as I said, Amin was the guy who helped me establish a place where we could train full time. And, you know, we called it ATOS Lebanon. And up until recently, that's what we were always known as.
Was there any advantage of being called ATOS, like other than the name?
Man, we didn't.
Because you see that struggle happen a lot around the world.
Well, at that time, people, you know, they didn't know who I was, what I was doing. So you kind of need this. You kind of need this name, you know, because, you know, I wasn't anyone, like.
Okay.
Just training jiu-jitsu. And
fair enough. They could Google ATOS and they'll see Andre Galvan doing this.
Because lots of foreigners came and they'll be like, okay, ATOS, yeah, there's one in Lebanon. Oh, it's probably legit. And yeah, it did help at the beginning. And then what started to happen was I started to get a reputation in Lebanon, and my name was associated with ATOS, and people thought ATOS was my school.
Oh.
So they're like, oh man, you have a school in America? I'm like, no. Like, that's the real one. We're an affiliate to that. Like,
what an amazing rumor.
Yeah, they're like, they did it. Like, I'm talking beginners, of course, not advanced people.
One of your students is amazing.
They were yeah, they were surprised, man, to know that, like, ATOS part of an international team. And then
I see it.
Started to, like, we started to contribute more to ATOS, to be honest. People in Lebanon started to know who ATOS is because of us, and not the other way around.
Yes.
For the foreigners, the Lebanese that were coming from abroad, and even the foreigners that were training as well, for them it was the opposite. They got in touch. They got in touch with us through ATOS. They're like, oh, there's an ATOS in Lebanon. They must be legit. So they used to come. But in Lebanon, man, it was just like Daniel. That's it.
Man.
And then.
So like that's the reason I was asking is, in the beginning, yes, the name is definitely a valuable thing, especially 2013 to 2015.
For
this
sure,
is where
sure.
ATOS was dancing in every single event because they won.
Yeah, they were, man. I think 2014 was when they won the Pan Ams. It's the first time they take it.
Yes.
Yeah, I was there. I forgot if it was 14 or 15.
You were at the Pan Ams?
Yeah, I was at the Pan Ams twice.
Did you compete?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
How'd you do?
The second one bad. The first one was actually good. The first one,
nice.
Because you're fighting top level guys. So
exactly.
The first fight I won. The second fight I lost a real close fight. The second time, man, I did real bad.
Because people don't understand the level in these competitions. It's the next thing.
Yeah,
like
it's real high, man. Like the thing is, yeah, I think the second time, man, I was like, I started, man, like I was, training with the guys in San Diego. I'm like, I'm sparring with the top guys, man. I'm gonna go and it's gonna be an easy tournament. And man, my first fight, I got a killer, man. He just like sweeping me, passing me. I'm like,
yeah,
it was, yeah. It was,
but a lot of these guys, again, like the States has had Brazil for so long. A lot of these guys started when they were 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, for sure. Like you're fighting. I tell my students this all the time. I mean, like if you're competing at the highest level, I mean, you could have just been training 1-2 years. You're a blue belt, and then you fight someone that's been training 10 years, and he's like 16, 17. He just got his blue belt, but he's like black belt level. But
exactly, that's the thing.
So, yeah, we try to prepare for those. Like we try to keep them on that level, and
yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, I try to encourage, like, our focus is international. Like, we don't have, our standards aren't to be the top team in Lebanon.
Okay.
We're on good terms with everyone in Lebanon, like all the teams. They're all my friends.
Nice.
They have, we have open doors for whoever wants to come train with us. They're always welcome.
How many clubs do you have in Lebanon now?
And there are a lot, but that just focus on only jiu-jitsu, none. But they're all MMA, but they have jiu-jitsu affiliates. Like we have Checkmat, we have a Gracie Baja, we have a Wander Braga affiliate.
Okay. Any Brazilians, Brazilian coaches now there?
No.
Man, I can't believe
they're all Lebanese that got affiliates, but they're all more MMA teams. So they just train jiu-jitsu maybe once or twice a week on average. But no, it's growing here. Like it's growing pretty well, and our doors are always welcome for everyone that wants to train. But because our team is the only one, I think, that's focused on jiu-jitsu. Like we have a jiu-jitsu culture in our gym. So when people used to first come to the team, they used to talk about like GSP, BJ Penn, and all the guys that were the top guys at that time, but in MMA, and no one used to know anyone. Like they didn't used to know like Rodolfo. They didn't used to know
anybody.
Anybody in jiu-jitsu. Yeah, they just used to know the MMA fighters. And then now our culture is completely different. Like we have fighters that train MMA. They like I have students that train MMA, but they're all well versed on the jiu-jitsu culture. They know who the top guys are. They're all subscribed to Flow Grappling.
Nice.
They watch all the latest events. They're trying like the latest techniques. Like.
I liked what you said.
There's a jiu-jitsu culture in our gym now. I think this is the difference between the other teams. You might find this with a few guys, of course, but the majority are still training jiu-jitsu for MMA.
And that's a completely different thing, man. I think
it is a different thing, and people that want to train MMA, obviously it's better to focus on jiu-jitsu for MMA. Like it's not wrong at all.
I know you believed in that 30-70 thing and fell in love with the 70, but I'm a believer that pure breed jiu-jitsu up to black belt, okay, maybe not necessarily up to black belt, but pure breed jiu-jitsu, gi, and doing it 100%, even that 70% that seems irrelevant is fucking relevant. Because
it is. Like at the end of the day, man, like the training you get in jiu-jitsu, of course, the techniques play a big role, but the level of coordination that you need in jiu-jitsu is unbelievable. Like,
Oh yeah.
I think, of course, man, jiu-jitsu guys, they're not going to have takedowns as good as judo fighters or wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
But man, if you actually come to think of it, it might be easier to take down jiu-jitsu guys, but it's hard to keep them down, man.
Oh yeah.
Like, I think no martial art do they get back up as much as jiu-jitsu. You try
Because
to
they
sweep the
pose a
guy, he
threat.
tries to bounce back up.
Yeah.
You take the guy down, he has 3 seconds to get back up. Like, jiu-jitsu guys are very good at getting up after they fall. And
That's very true.
sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes they coordinate their body in a really weird way. Sometimes they go upside down. Sometimes they,
Yep.
sometimes they bridge. Sometimes they do, there's so many different movements. And I think jiu-jitsu, every time you're fighting in jiu-jitsu, you have to coordinate to kind of get what you want. So you're developing your coordination more than you would with another martial art.
Yeah.
And the gi is only going to make this coordination much better. So you're developing like attributes that will help you into anything that needs coordination.
100%. I mean, okay, the basic riff on this debate that people have is pure jiu-jitsu good for MMA or not? I present it in a different way. People study different degrees in university, right?
Yeah.
And the degrees that you study don't teach you necessarily specifics. They teach you a way of thinking. And that's where you really take it home, because an engineer that's studying something today, in 5 years it'll be obsolete, but he still has the engineer way of thinking so that he can learn it in 5 years. Jiu-jitsu teaches you to pave highways and side roads, zawarib, all right, if you want to take it to Lebanon. When you get into a fight, you know how to navigate zawarib to get where you want. Most other martial arts, you're off-roading. You're in the jungle, in the bush. You're swinging with a hacksaw and beating on bushes till you find something. Jiu-jitsu looks for the zawarib, looks for the roads to get you to the result. And when you train gi, you have 400 zawarib every time you train.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, you're adding more skill to it when you're training with the gi, for sure. I mean, of course you have to adjust when you're going into MMA, but man, if you're training jiu-jitsu with the gi, it's the most complicated martial art.
It's as complex as it gets.
Yeah, it's super complicated, especially now. You fight the guy's clothes as well, with all the worm guard and lapel guard and all these variations. Like,
I love it.
Sometimes you're not even fighting the guy; you're fighting his clothes, man. Like,
100%, man. He's wearing. He chose to fucking wear.
I'm like, I'm
naked.
fighting the guy, and man, like, the guy's fighting my clothes, man. Like,
yep.
That's
me, bro.
It's insane, man. It's insane. Like, that's what you play.
I definitely do have like 50% of my game. I use your clothes against you.
Yeah, man. It's it's part of the sport. Like, but I try not to use it too much. But I encourage the competitors to do it.
Yes, of course.
Like, if they want to compete, I don't tell them, man, never don't. I don't have this old school mentality of like, no, don't pull guard, don't do it, man. Like, whatever. Like, if you're good, if you have a good guard, or like. If I find this game will suit you, man, just go for it.
I found some magic with this game, and I totally agree with you. It should not be a foundation. It should not compensate for the foundation of jiu-jitsu. But when I compete and when I fight against people that are overly confident, it's a confidence breaker. And confidence is very important when you're fighting against somebody.
Of course, man.
If somebody suddenly makes you feel lack of confidence in what you can do against them, and you start thinking every move twice, you become very slow. The lapel does that. As soon as I tie a person a lapel, that quick hip movements and that Michael Jackson shit they start doing goes away, and they start focusing.
It's a shortcut, man. Like, I mean, like, I imagine myself, like, if like, real soon I'll be competing at the black belt level, and man, like, some guys, man, like, if I'm just gonna keep my guard open, man, they're just, I need to like just wrap their lapel around me just a little bit,
Yes.
To hang in there with these guys for like 10 minutes, man. Like, no, I'd rather be wrapping the lapel than like side control bottom,
Yep, exactly. That's the thing. Like, you need to, sometimes you need a reset button in a fight. And I feel like this kind of game, and you're awkward 50-50 is a fucking reset button if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, like every time, like, if I feel I'm in trouble, that's what I look for, Yeah. I like that game a lot, but I don't know, man. At the high level, like, you need these cheats, man. You need these
Exactly.
cheats, you know.
All the top competitors that I've spoken to already, like, they tell you straight up, they're like, man, okay, you go up and you get your black belt. There's another black belt that's been a black belt 5 years, 10 years, and you go into the competitions. If you come up with technique versus technique, it's going to be the stronger guy.
Yeah.
It's going to be the guy that got lucky. But you have to bring in something that nobody's seen
I think
get them off their game.
That's what's nice about jiu-jitsu is that you don't have to be exactly the same as anyone. Like you're gonna have your own style of jiu-jitsu, man. Like
I love that, man. That's the most thing I love.
That's what I think is so nice is and I think coaches that limit people's creativity, man, that's
they limit their jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, you've killed their jiu-jitsu. Like without knowing it, you killed them. And if you find someone who's good at something, man, just be good at that. So like, you know,
so true.
I can't describe to you like my students, like what's our style in Lebanon. I don't know, man. Like there's no one style, man. Like, you know, you have some guys, man, like, you know, they're real good passers. They go side to side, attack the back, very aggressive, man. You have guys that pull guard, you know, you have everything. Like I don't encourage people to just do what I do.
How do you teach? Like, is it just technique of the day and you teach, or do you have like themes
that you go by? No, we work
on
things. We work on things for about a week or 2 weeks, depending on how much they're getting it.
I like that.
We try to like, you know, we try to build things up. So for me, you know, I like to have it it's more of an education. It's like a skill, and it's not random techniques. Like you just pop in today. Oh, what are we working on today? If you came on Monday, you know what we're doing.
Cool.
You know what we're doing the rest of the week. And
very
people
important.
know this. Like, for example, people who skip a day, man, they start asking, like, what are we doing? Like, what's this? Show me what we're doing. Because, you know, they need to eventually know what we're talking about. Like, you know, I don't tell people, you know, don't skip and whatever. Like people, you know, they have stuff to do, man. Like I don't,
of course.
I don't encourage people to.
But this is how you have to teach jiu-jitsu, I believe. Because like I went through the commercial route where it's just like, okay, technique of the day.
50 push-ups, 50 burpees, and they get you tired. And then like they show you like a technique, your brain's not working. Don't drink water. Yeah.
You know it, bro.
Man,
you
like,
know it.
Yeah, they're cool. I just tell them like, man, like, you know.
Yeah. Because it's a business.
Cool. Just train hard, you know, drink water whenever you want between rounds.
Yeah. Aside.
Yeah, just fix your clothes after each round. That's it.
Man, it's pretty much it. Like thing.
Just you know, train however you want. And you know, I don't really line people up. You know, if people see how the classes are, they're a little bit different that they go on everywhere. I don't line people up and then, you know, start with the burpees and whatever. Like we just start directly. Like we just circle up and we start techniques directly. You don't do
any warm-ups. You don't find that like you.
We warm up with little movement drills of the technique. That's
amazing.
That's, you know, like I said, man, I'm trying to make good people fast. You know, I don't have like, I want to train with these people.
Yes. Know? When you find a gym,
like, man. Yeah, if I see someone in, man, like, you know, I see this guy has like a talent. I'm like, man, I want to train this guy to beat me, you know? And that's, you know.
They're so lucky to have that environment, man. Because this is like, if for everybody listening right now that's training with Daniel or thinking, okay, go train, because it's so rare. Because these days, jiu-jitsu has become such a commercial business, and it's a great business. God bless it as a business. I don't want it to change. There's many people they're living.
It has a business system and everything.
Oh yeah.
You know, I don't like that. You know, I don't.
Yeah, because what you're teaching is rare.
It's important. It's important, but man, time doesn't come back, man.
No, it doesn't.
Time doesn't come back. Like they're giving me this much time from their lives, from their daily work. Like I'm not here to waste their time, man. Like, you know, they're taking my time. I'm taking their time. Like, let's make the best out of it, man. Let's train.
I like that. Daniel, you're killing me with suspense because you've only given me 3 chapters. I want the 4th one, bro.
Now's the 4th chapter.
Okay.
So, like usual, the same as all the chapters. I've been left alone after each one.
Fuck. Why?
Huh?
Why? Again, who left?
No, I mean left. I told you. He moved to London, you know. He's in touch with me. And same thing, I'm running everything alone here.
Okay.
And then in 2017, I see on Instagram the Mendes Brothers are posting a promotion of someone. I'm looking. I'm like, man, is that, I'm like reading it again and again. I'm like, man, that's a Lebanese name.
Hmm.
And his name was he's yeah. We're gonna get to the story quick. His name was Said Khatib.
Okay.
I'm like looking. I'm like, man, he's a Lebanese guy. I'm just gonna follow him. So I follow him. He follows me back.
He
And
lives in the States.
he lives in California. He trains with the Mendes Brothers.
Okay.
And you know, every time there's a post or whatever, I send him like a Lebanese flag. He sends me a Lebanese flag, and
Nice.
it was really simple, man. But little did I know that
Wow.
this guy was gonna change the face of jiu-jitsu in Lebanon.
Unbelievable.
Started as something really small. Then we had friends in common. He asked about my ass because I also trained at AOJ when we were doing the Pan Am's camp, so I had friends in common.
Okay.
And then we started talking, and it was just just on Instagram. We were just chit chatting back and forth. And then he started seeing, man, and he's like, man, what's happening in Lebanon? Like, it seems that there's a jiu-jitsu community. There's something happening there.
Amazing.
And, we kept talking and it kept growing. And I found someone who, man, he doesn't need to be helping us at all,
Okay.
but he's doing it and doing it full force. I mean, it's like you have
Helping how?
I'm going to explain. So we have like this, system in Lebanon where we put everything together.
Mm-hmm.
This hard work and getting things together and building a right atmosphere, but there's a limit to kind of what we can do. So it's there's this like strong kind of muscle we have here, and then Said is like the steroids,
Nice.
and then it
Damn.
grew like this. We decided to work together to just have the biggest seminar in Lebanon. We are like,
Okay.
man, let's do this, man. Let's do this for Lebanon. He's like, yeah. It's like, I'll contact Professor Andre. He'll contact the Mendes Brothers. Let's bring them in for a huge seminar.
Unreal.
Was it 2018? I think the first seminar. 2000.
I think that was 2017 because they went to
The
Greece
first one.
and then they went
Yes.
to Lebanon.
Possibly 2017.
Yeah. I was in Greece in 2017 when they came, and then right after that they went to Lebanon.
Oh, damn. Yeah. So I think it was November. Huh?
Yeah.
November of 2017. Yes. Man, I'm sorry, man. I'm not really focused on the dates. Just
No,
the
that's
story.
that's
like,
fine. Yeah. It's just
going on
coincidental
at his
because
feet.
I didn't know you were behind this because I knew they were in Greece and then I knew they're going to Lebanon. Like, holy shit, Mendes Brothers in Lebanon?
Me and Said coordinated this, and we were coordinating it like as fast as possible. Like it wasn't planned before a
Incredible.
year. We just put our heads together.
Yes.
And that was the first time we ever met. And then he stayed with us a while. He saw the team. He saw how we are. And man, like he was the missing piece in this puzzle, man. He was the missing piece. Like,
big shout out to Said.
Man, huge shout out to Said. And he's he helped us travel. He helped with a lot of things. And me and him, he started to see my work. I started to see how his work. He started to see my personality. I saw his personality, and man, we just grew on each other.
Amazing.
And damn, man, he's like an older brother to me. Way older brother, but an older brother to me.
You're gonna get tapped out for that one.
Huh?
You're gonna get tapped out for that one.
Probably. He's like a little Yoda, man.
Oh, wow.
He does all these burn bolos. Man, his game is the opposite of mine.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got this little Baron Bolo kind of inverted man.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So he's super flexible.
Yeah, man, he's flexible. I didn't know that, man. I saw him just like, he was doing like physio for his knee. He had a knee surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was showing me like some videos, pictures of videos of him stretching. Man, he's insanely flexible, man.
Unbelievable.
He's insane, man. He's slick, man. He's got these tricks, man. When he rolls, like he's got these, you look at him, you think, man, he just starts, stepping here, stepping on your knee, doing all these fancy stuff, man. Have you ever seen that video of him? Like he's doing techniques, flying omoplatas and all that stuff.
I have not.
You haven't seen it.
Send me it, please, after this.
Man, it's insane, man. Like he's slick, man. Like he's slick.
Wow.
Like, yeah, I didn't expect that, man. I didn't expect that at all.
So was he in California living still, or did he move to Lebanon?
Yeah, he lived there. No, he left Lebanon a long time ago when he was about 18.
And he still doesn't live in Lebanon.
He doesn't live in Lebanon, no. But he visits his family. He visits, and
Wow.
and he told me that like we like we became one more reason for him to visit Lebanon, and
Amazing.
it's insane, man. And he's seeing the guys, man. Like he fell in love with the team. He fell in love with how we're working. He didn't expect there to be such a thing, such a community in Lebanon.
Sure.
And we're like, man, like it's either now or never, man. And we put our heads together, and the AOJ and ATOS, they had a split not too long ago. I think it was the beginning of this year, end of last year.
Yep.
And me and Said were like, man, let's have a dream academy in Lebanon. And man, we were supposed to open on the 16th of March, before the whole pandemic.
Oh my goodness. Is this Beyond Submissions? This is where this comes in?
Yeah. This is what it is, man. Like,
Oh
I'm
my
gonna tell you a
goodness.
little bit about the
Please.
organization, but man, we had a dream academy that soon after all this is over, man, we're gonna start classes there.
Nice.
It's fire, man. It might
Nice.
be, man, in my opinion, it's the most beautiful academy in the Middle East by far.
It
And
hasn't been opened yet. Nobody's seen this yet?
hasn't been open yet. Some people have seen it. Some people have seen pictures. There are some teasers of the place, but man, it hasn't been open. And this is, yeah, it's on my mind, man, all the time. So we invested in this big project, and we're, man, he
Amazing.
didn't have to do any of this. He didn't
Sure.
have to do any of this, man. He didn't have to do any of this. Like that's the thing that it gets me, man. Like he's just he's just doing it out of like just passion for this, love for this. You know, he's man. I don't know, man. The thing is, it's really scary what's gonna happen now in this fourth phase with him backing me right now. It's really scary. I don't know what's gonna happen. I
I
don't
just
know.
I love hearing about people that are almost selfless to that extent, because you saw it happen in Jordan, right? And you saw the results. Look at Jordan today. This is because of a person like Zaid Mirza coming, and Sami Jamal, people that like had their own lives going and came back from wherever they went or shared back to their home country. And look at Jordan today. It's recognized for its jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, man.
Now you see what you're doing.
Jordan has sick jujitsu, man. Like,
Killers, absolute killers, man. That's
and
terrifying.
any gym you go to in Jordan, man, like
Yeah.
someone's gonna trash you, you know?
Yeah. But you know what? Now it's coming to Lebanon, because people like Saeed and people like you and Ghalia and the people that put effort towards Lebanon, right? You planted these seeds, and now your next step, this fourth chapter, is going to have a fifth and sixth where nobody's going to fucking leave. Everybody's going to stay.
It's insane. So I'm hoping with what me and Said are gonna do now, I'm hoping that we can keep things in Lebanon. I mean,
Yes.
it's so sad, man. Like, things, everything and everyone is leaving the country, and it's sad, man. It's so sad. Like, it's sad to
Sure.
see this, but man, this is a dream. It's a vision we both have, and we started this organization, Beyond Submissions, just as this platform to be able to support people, to be able to spread jiu-jitsu where there's no jiu-jitsu, to be able to support and sponsor athletes that deserve it. It was
Nice.
just us giving back to all this, man. Like,
Yep.
jiu-jitsu shaped my life. It shaped his life.
Yes.
Now, man, he's adding value to my life as well, man. It's insane. Like,
That's an amazing
it just
story.
it just happened that, like, I didn't ask for anything, man. This is just the way it happened, man. And hopefully once all this is over, we can open the academy. We can work on all our projects, and I think with him, man, we're gonna reach real far.
Now you have a
We're gonna reach
hand.
real far.
You have somebody who's at a level that can support. He has the experience. You have the motivation. You have the people that love you, man. Like I'm looking at the chat. It's fired up and everybody's all supportive of you.
Is there any trash talking going on, or is it just good
Not
talk?
yet. So far, good. I didn't pick up. There's one trash talk from Ghalia. She's saying, "Ask Daniel how I found him rolling with a chair. He chose a chair over me when I got pregnant." So that's the only one I caught.
Yeah, it's a true story, man.
I love it, man. True story, man. Listen, Daniel, I want to really. This is to you. This is to everybody listening from Lebanon in Lebanon. Lebanon has a very special place in my heart. I have a family history that ties back to Lebanon very deeply. Lebanon to me is the uncut gem of the Middle East. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not in 10 years, but it's going to be the fucking diamond of the Middle East. I know it because it's gone through enough. It's had the experience that no other Middle Eastern country has had in terms of the diversity, the religions, everything. Then it has the market. The Lebanese people know how to fucking do business. They know how to do things, right? They just need to get their shit together and get along and get organized.
They do a little bit too much business, man.
They do a little bit too much business, but eventually too much business will funnel down to the right kind of business. And I'm telling you, man, once that shit gets together and those stars align, right? Like that student met with that nemesis of yours in the competition, the stars will fucking align. And I know Lebanon has the ingredients to be something incredible. And when it does, you're going to be there.
Yeah, man. We see it, man. Man, I talk to Saeed all the time. And look, man, there's two sides to Lebanon, and there's the side that you see on the media and that you hear what's going on, man, and you're like, right. People are leaving, the economy is falling apart, yep. We're on a brink of civil war, and then you have all these negative thoughts and ideas of Lebanon, mm-hmm. And then you have this small idea of Lebanon, man, as like, this future, man, this place in Lebanon where, man, you're gonna have, good things happening, people yes. making it, I don't know, man. There's so many good things about Lebanon, but it's just a small idea. But this small idea is the one that me and Saeed believe in, and this is the one that we're pushing for. Like, the Lebanon we see is a different one than the one that's being shown out there, and we're trying to make a difference in this part of Lebanon.
You have your finger on the right pulse. I don't even doubt it, not even 1%. I know Lebanon is one of the most beautiful countries in the world. No doubt, man, in my mind.
It's gorgeous, man. Like,
no doubt.
Man, yep. you just drive around, and like the other day I was going towards the north. I'm just looking at the scenery.
Yep.
Man, this country's so beautiful, man, and
it's there, man. Everything's there. The foundation is there. Just the management needs a few change-ups, needs a few shakings. But I definitely think that within the near future, forget just jiu-jitsu, everything in Lebanon is going to be something to be proud of.
I'm talking about everything, but hopefully it can, hopefully what happens to Lebanon will be the same as what happens with jiu-jitsu,
Oh yeah, and I can't wait, man. Jiu-jitsu, you never know. Jiu-jitsu might play a huge role in this. It has in many countries.
Like, man, man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, man. It has to start from somewhere. I think.
Yes.
All the small things. If you make a difference with all these small things, it will add up. It will add up for sure. And, right. We're doing our part. We have only the best intentions for everyone.
Yes.
He's like, I couldn't have asked for a better partner on board with me right now. We see eye to eye. I don't know, man. Just big things coming in. I'm scared, man. I'm scared.
I love it, but that's a good sign. When you're scared of what's to come, that means you're doing the right thing.
I can't tell you, man. I can't tell you what's gonna happen, but and if I told you, I'd be lying. But I'm just scared, man.
So what are the plans now for the future? You open up Beyond Submissions Lebanon. You shock everybody with this incredible project you guys have cooked up for everyone.
Yeah, the project is gonna be like. It's the result of the project. I think that's what's gonna, like, the academy is gonna be beautiful, but what we're gonna do is gonna be even better.
Nice.
Just having a nice academy, that's it's not important.
Absolutely.
What we're gonna do with this academy, that's the real thing. Like, what's gonna happen there?
Does anybody know where this academy is going to be?
Yeah. This academy is gonna be in Hazmi, and it's gonna be in the
Nice
Champs
area.
Fitness Complex. Yeah. It's in the middle of everywhere, so it's
Very
easily
happening.
accessible to anyone. Yeah, it's right now nothing is happening.
Okay, yeah.
Nothing
I
is
mean,
happening
it
right
will
now,
be
but
very
yeah,
happening, I hope.
it will be. It's the location is great.
Yeah,
Man, I don't know, man. I'm just like I'm nervous about it. I'm scared of
sure.
what's gonna happen, man. I don't know. Man. I'm telling you, man. It's like you have this muscle, and then just it's like this right now.
Man, I can't wait. I honestly, I'm looking forward to things opening up again. Like I told you, I usually come to Lebanon a lot, at least 2 months a year. I'm there. I miss it. And now I know that when I go to Lebanon, when things open up, I have a place to go train jiu-jitsu, and I can't fucking wait, man. I'm
Yeah, man.
excited.
Yeah, it's man. Yeah, it's a good thing, man. But just it's not a threat or anything. But the training isn't gonna be light. I'm not just talking. I'm not just talking like.
Fuck yeah, man. Let's
Like
go. I'm
it's
not coming for light rolls.
yeah. It's man. Like I
I
said, man.
love
Like
it.
there's lots of killers, man. Like man, sometimes, man. Like
Yeah, man.
yeah, man. I don't want to mention names, but yeah, it's
Dude,
a
man,
lot of killers there.
I love to hear it. And honestly, that's the thing. I'm so proud of the Middle East. And I say Middle East, I don't say any specific country because like I consider it as like one area. Because whether we see it or not, we're going through this together. Every single Middle Eastern country got introduced to Jiu-Jitsu within 5 years of each other. So
Yeah, it's true.
as a Jiu-Jitsu
True.
geography, forget nationalities, culture, race, religion. As a geography, we're all on the same timeline as each other. We can help each other expedite. Look at what the UAE did. If the UAE didn't do what it did, it wouldn't have expedited it for the rest of their geography.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Man, huge respect for the
Yeah.
UAE. Like huge respect. Like,
And then look at Jordan.
unbelievable.
If Jordan didn't do what it did, Samuel Jamal, Zaid Mirza, Rashid Brothers, all of these guys, if they didn't do what they do, the MMA scene would have been really delayed. Now
Yeah,
Jordan's
not even MMA, man. They had before Desert Force, man. In Jordan, I remember they hosted a huge jiu-jitsu event, man. Like they had the top jiu-jitsu guys going there, man. You had Mendes Brothers,
Yes.
Rodolfo, man. Like
Even Andre Galvan with Zazawa, there
yeah,
was Atos there.
man. Like Jordan, not just for MMA, man. For jiu-jitsu, they contributed a lot, man. Like they're,
Yes.
it's
So
man.
now Lebanon's turn to contribute. Egypt is on the rise. I've talked
Man,
to guys over there.
Egypt, man. Yeah, Egypt also is on the rise. Like, man, like I think there's man. Some guys came from Egypt for the seminar here when we did the Andre and Mendes Bros seminar,
Yeah.
and they're tough, man. Like
The Anubis
Egypt,
guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
Egypt, man. Like, shout out to the guys there. We have one of their guys. He lives here now. He trains
Okay.
with us. Big shout out to him. Man, he's like an Egyptian killer, man. He's
Big
like
guys
an
too.
Egyptian Bushesha, man.
Oh shit.
He's
Because man, they're fucking
he's
huge.
wild,
I don't know.
man.
I don't know
He's
what they put
wild.
in the kushari there, man. But man, like Ahmed Magid and the guys that I've been talking to, they're fucking beasts. They're big guys and shredded.
Man. Egypt's a scary place, man. Egypt's a scary place. Like these guys are tough, man. These guys are tough, man. Like you see, like man, in wrestling they're monsters. In judo they're monsters, man. Like, man, huge respect, man. I'd love to go visit them. Train with the guys, man. Like
I was telling them, man, like their facility looks incredible. What they're doing is insane, and it's the same. Like that's what I'm telling you. Like you, Anubis, the guys in Jordan right now, all over the Middle East right now, all of the countries, they're really stepping up their game. I see now. Shout out to Zaid Granduk. Jiranduk. He's starting his, and he said hello to you. He told me, please tell him hello on live. So I'm
man,
like, okay.
this guy's a beast, man. He's actually, man, I fought him, man, in 2011, man, like at open weight, man.
You fought against him?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Are you any injuries?
I'm fine, man. I'm fine. Yeah, man. He's a killer, man.
He's a monster.
Man, he's a monster, man. He's like, man, he's huge, man.
Wow. But I love what he did. He's the first Arab to create Arabic instructionals for Jiu-Jitsu. We're getting there, man. We're waking the fuck up and we're starting to step up our game, and I can't wait, man.
Yeah, man. It's dude, man, like to be honest, like the last few tournaments we've been having in the JJAU.
Yeah.
Remember I was telling you like how I used to just compete alone and just like no one there. Man, the last few tournaments, man, like you have like all my friends from Jordan, from even UAE, man, when we're fighting against other countries, man, like even Kuwait as well, man, all the Arab countries, man, they're all cheering for me, man.
Man,
They're all supporting me from the fans, man, like from the stands,
I love it.
Man,
Because the
it's
fans are
insane.
becoming more educated too. They know who's who now.
Yeah. Like we man, like it's insane, man. The last few tournaments have been real good. Like,
Yeah.
man, so much good jiu-jitsu, man. Bahrain, you have sick jiu-jitsu, man. I
Yeah.
think you have
Oh
Ali
my
on
God.
tomorrow, man.
Ali Monfaridi, yes.
He's sick, man. He's sick.
We definitely have some incredible people coming, man. And that's the thing. Like, I'm excited because now you have a mix of the UAE community, the Lebanese community, the Egyptian community listening to this podcast and getting to know you. Next time you show up in any of these places, you're going to have more people cheering for you. And that's what I want to see, man. We need to support each other, support each other's teams.
And trying to kill me.
And try to fucking kill you. What you offered a death threat to me when I come, so fuck.
That wasn't
why not?
I was just speaking on behalf of the guys. I was speaking on behalf of the guys. But,
fair enough. Don't shoot the messenger. Okay. So, but we're gonna have a good time with that, I'm sure, man. So I wanted to just leaving off on a note of advice for everybody out there listening, whether they're training in the best gym there is, whether they're training on their own and trying to get better at jiu-jitsu. What kind of advice would you give people listening to this podcast?
So, man, I think, having the best, like having a real good coach taking care of you and all that, like it's great, man. And you're blessed and lucky if you have someone that knows you, respects you, helps you and all this. It's great,
Yeah.
But I think people, they kind of, they don't know how much they could actually do on their own.
Mm.
I think people have much more potential than they think they do, and I think, man, a lot of the training, a lot of the work, a lot of getting good level, a lot of trying to be the best version of yourself. Most of it is from you, man. It's not from anyone else. I mean, if you are able to get someone's help, it's great. It's you're blessed, you're lucky, but and a lot of it, even though you're getting help, man, just push yourself, man. Like, man, my students know, man, like, those that see me train, man, I don't skip any rounds of sparring. I'm just there. I train. They know, man. I'm not here to just talk about myself or anything, but man, people need to just push it, man. They just need to.
I like that.
I think there's this hidden line. I don't know if it's a hidden line, but there's this line, man, between like overtraining and being lazy. Yes. And I see this a lot. I see this a lot in the community. And when they're tired, they're like, I'm not gonna train today. I'm overtraining. I'm not nah, man, you're just tired.
Mm-hmm.
I think people don't really push themselves as much as they could. And I think, yeah, man, I think regardless whoever your coach is, man, like just do the best you can do, man. Like study as much as you can, train as much as you can. Man, like it's your only chance, man. It's your only chance.
So well said. Man. So well said, man. Too many people telling themselves short as well.
Yeah, like, man, a lot of people, man, I meet so much people that don't have confidence. They're like, yeah, I'm not gonna travel. I shouldn't go and compete. Man, just go do it, man. Like, you're gonna regret it, man. Like, every day you waste is one day less in your life, man. And
yeah,
I don't know, man. Like, just do it, man. That's it.
The highlight, Daniel, of everything you told me, and one thing I really respect and admire about you is your value to other people's time. Because, like, you know the saying that no matter how wealthy you are, no matter how successful in life you are,
you don't get time back, man.
You don't get time back. And when it's your time, $1 billion won't get you a single second back. So you appreciating that time means a lot. And I know that when I come down to Lebanon, even though I might get my ass kicked, I will get my time appreciated with you.
Yeah, man, I'm not, no threats, man, but that's just the way they are, man.
I love it, man. I'll be happy, man. I want to see the level.
Man,
I want to see.
They're the nicest guys in the world, but like.
I know.
Yeah.
No, that's how it is, man.
There's a lot to talk about. Man. They don't know another way.
There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of big things coming as well, but I'm looking forward to the big things coming from you and Saeed. I wish you guys all of the success and know that this entire community is here. We're growing. Surely just like Lebanon, this media side is growing. We're all going to be there for each other. This is how we work together. And this is how we make people believe that when you train jiu-jitsu, you have a future in the Middle East. You don't have to run away to be successful.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I think that, man, the talent, man, in the Arab world is huge, man. You know, man, a big shout out to, man, all the Middle Eastern practitioners listening right now, man. Like, just there's top notch level here, man. Like, just, it's great, man.
Yeah,
and a hi to all my guys, man. I've been on the low, down low, so.
They're all happy to see you, man. I see everybody on YouTube sharing some love. And they actually convinced my wife to start jiu-jitsu, by the way. Some magic happened while we're talking.
What?
So my wife started saying, like, I love how this community's going, and I love how you guys are all so close. And then Cynthia and Magali and a bunch of the ladies out here started supporting her, and she's getting into it now. So thank you.
Man. Yeah,
Let's go, man. Let's go.
You, man. This was your idea, man, not mine.
Habibi, bro. I appreciate you. Hang in there. I'm just going to wrap it up here on YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Amazing, incredible gentleman, Daniel Hilal. It's an honor to have you on this podcast, and I can't wait to talk to you many times.
Man, thank you so much, man.
Habibi.
I wouldn't have imagined doing, a podcast, but, man, like, thank you so much for this opportunity. And, man, like, thanks for everyone listening. I don't know if I missed any parts of the story because I don't really know, man. But
there's more chapters to come, but nobody.
Yeah, there's more chapters to come. Yeah, I think but the future is going to speak for itself. The future is going to speak for itself. So.
And I can't wait. I can't wait to see it, man. Thank you so much. Guys, everybody here watching on YouTube, be sure to tune in tomorrow. We have Ali Munfaridi tuning in. We have a stacked week.
Man. He's sick.
Absolutely amazing guy. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notifications so you know when we go live, so you can catch us on every other episode. Much love to you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next one, stay sharp, people.
Thank you, guys. Bye.